With mandatory mini camps happening and on the horizon, what do the Jets need? What do the Giants need? What's the number one need? We'll discuss it. Plus, coverage of the Knicks in the NBA Finals back at Madison Square Garden, president and all. We'll talk about it. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital live on a Monday starts right now.
Let's go! It's time for the talk to you. Cause it's all we're gonna do. And Boy Green is always on the scene. And we're gonna always bring it to you live streaming. So get ready. Get ready, cause here they come.
All right, everybody, welcome aboard. Still in New York City. Yep, hung around, Boy Green. Forget about coming home on the weekend. I can't leave this city while it's standing on its head. Knicks Spurs, Game 3, this one at Madison Square Garden. Heck, it's only been 27 years since Madison Square Garden has hosted an NBA Finals game. I'm sad to say I was not at that game.
What?
But I was at the one in 1994 that had snapped a drought for quite some time. But this one has been a long drought. And, of course, if you've been following along, the Knicks have not won a championship, an NBA title, in 53 years. It goes all the way back to 1973 when Earl the Pearl Monroe was playing for the New York Knicks. So there's a lot of revisionist history here. There's a lot of there. And New York City has been thirsting. It's almost like they've been wandering the desert for 27 years without a drink. And tonight they're going to get a sip. And so the real question, and we'll get into this Knicks thing deeply a little bit later here in our show, but just to give you a little taste here, little appetizer. The fact of the matter is that while one side of this argument is the Garden will be rocking, this will be as difficult in an environment for any team, especially a young team like the Spurs, to walk into after 27 years of not having one of these. I mean, New York knows how to party, and we haven't been able to party for 27. Imagine a 27-year pandemic, and then they let the New York City people out of their houses. That's what this is going to be. It's going to be absolute insanity, and not just in the arena, around the arena and around the entire city, and that stretches out to the 5 boroughs, as you saw the other day when I was in Queens for that watch party in a game that was in San Antonio. I had to get there at 5 o'clock just to get in the place and get a seat. And let me tell you, I got one of the last seats at 5 o'clock, a little table of 4 scrunched in a corner. I mean, it was crazy. So you think that was bad. Tonight is going to be virtual insanity. And then you throw in the fact that President Trump decided he wants to go to the game too. And now you've got the Secret Service, streets being closed off, people being frisked.
Extra security.
Through the airports. So it's going to be TSA level security. A total no bag policy has been implemented. So ladies, if you're going, don't bring in your pocketbook because you ain't getting in the building with it. They're just going to take it and put it in the garbage. They're not returning it to you. It's not going in some, hey, we'll hold it over here. Come get it after the game. Bye-bye. So don't bring a bag. No clear bags. Don't bring anything. Just bring yourself if you're lucky enough.
And to your point, Lutz, restricted items as well. Like if you come to the gate and you have a restricted item, they're not holding that either. So you have to throw it away or lose it because they won't hold on to it either.
So okay, be aware of what's going on. They're telling people get there 3 hours before the game at a minimum, just to safely get through the security.
Yeah, it's not a rule.
Suggestion, but that's probably a pretty darn good suggestion.
I agree.
And let me tell you, the crowds going in. I mean, this is a work day in New York City. Penn Station is right underneath Madison Square Garden. I mean, this is going to be an insane logjam. New York on any given workday is an insane logjam. Now you add all of this to the puzzle and the president, and it's going to be a big, fat mess. In a lot of ways, BG, as much as I'd love to have a ticket for this one, I'm pretty happy I don't, because to have to jump through those kind of hoops just to go to the game when you have a ticket it's a lot to stomach. But I'm sure the environment is going to be incredible and amazing. So we'll get into all of it. But and I've got some hot takes on this whole thing. I had a very interesting discussion with a longtime friend of mine who I haven't seen in years. All right, who popped in on that watch party that I was at the other night. Okay. And let me just give you a taste of it. And I'm going to bring him on the show Maybe on our Wednesday live. Maybe we won't do it till next week. We'll see what gives. All right. But I'm going to try and get him on the
Right.
show
Well,
because, yeah, go ahead.
Lurch, before you get into it, here's just a fun thing because you were just
Mm.
talking about it with the tickets. You said, maybe I'm happy I'm not getting that in with all the extra stuff. Well, one of our guys that is getting in is Jake Asman. He
Mhm.
posted this earlier today on Twitter. My future son, Jalen Brunson Asman, won't be going to college because daddy spent his tuition fund on Knicks finals tickets. Let's go Knicks. And he has a screenshot of the ticket he purchased, at some point recent. I'm sure he didn't buy it today because I'm sure those were
No, he
sold
bought
out.
it last week. And if you heard, I
Yeah.
made a veiled reference last week. So now I can out it, I guess. I made a veiled reference last week that somebody that we know that we work with got tickets to the game. It was Jake who told me that.
I didn't know that's what you were talking about.
And I'm not going to share the number, but he shared the number of what he got the ticket for. And I was like, okay, well, that's wow. Good for you. Good for you, man. So, I was like, it better be a good game. That's what I'm hoping if I'm you. But look, he's sitting in history. I mean, this is a chance for history. And to be honest with you, what Jake paid for his ticket is absolutely reasonable compared to where tickets are now. So, like, he got a bargain, if you're there to say, compared to the insanity that he has. You could check today, Boy Green. I mean, it continues to just every day it's gone up incrementally. So I looked the other day and it was over 10 grand for the worst seat in the house. So it may be 15 now. It just continues. It is this insane, up kind of thing.
Yeah,
So,
let me look that up real quick. I'm sure I'm going to have that here in a second. While I'm pulling that up, Lurch, what do you make of Jake's future son, Jalen Brunson Asman? That's got a nice ring to it.
well, a lot of people do name their kids after championship players. So if the Knicks win a championship, I guarantee you a lot of sports loving families that are about to give birth to babies might go, you know what? Let's do Jalen, or heck, you could take Brunson and make it a first name. Brunson's a pretty cool first name,
Sure.
Imagine it, Brunson Lurch, that kind of works, So you could take his last name and turn it into, a lot of people did what Michael Jordan, they named their kids Jordan. Jordan obviously is a name that could go first or last, but a lot of people when Jordan was winning championships were naming their kids Jordan. So yeah, that's not uncommon that families get behind sports teams and then say, it's in the stars. Let's name our kid this because it was in the stars. And heck, after 53 years, I'd have to say you might not have another chance to do this. So you might want to, call your next kid OG or Jalen or Brunson or Josh or whoever it is that you love on the Knicks. So why not do that? And then you have that story forever. I went to the game. I was there when the Knicks and as a matter of fact, so much so I named my kid after. So there are sports nuts that do that kind of stuff. Quickly, before you answer that, let me quickly just tag this other little story. So this guy, former friend of mine, runs into me, and he says to me during the watch party, I have something I want to discuss with you. I said, okay, what is he? He knows I'm a sports guy. He knows I do a podcast. And he says, I know this is a minority opinion, but I honestly think that Mikal Bridges was worth the 5 number ones. And I'm here to prove it to you today. And so him and I, for the last 3 days now, all right, have been going back and forth. He gave me a whole thing in person, but now he's been texting me every day with this. And then I've been going back at him with that. And I have to tell you, his name is Matt Foley. He's a good dude. I said, in the last text, I said, maybe I'm going to have you on the podcast and let you argue your points and see if it is. But I have to admit, Matt is moving me. I was way over here and he was way over here. Like we have talked about this a lot, like 5 number ones for a single guy, right? Now, every time he talks to me, I'm moving closer to him, Paul. He's moving me. I'm not there. Like, yeah, you're right. Bridges worth it. But I'm getting closer to, you might be right. So we'll talk about that later. I don't want to get into all the nuts and bolts of it, but it is a very interesting take and one that if you really are willing to dig in and prove your case, a la the debate team, you might have some level of success. Wow. So Knicks Spurs tonight, game 3, Madison Square Garden. What else can we say? We'll talk about that a little later in the show, but since we are an NFL /
well, before we get to that, Lurch, I'll answer the question. The prices.
Yes, I didn't. Right, go ahead. Yes.
No. So it's actually, again, this is still crazy. I couldn't see myself forking over this kind of money, but the cheapest ticket in the house tonight is, and I don't know if this includes fees, but it's $4,500.
Oh, wow. So that's actually good. That's gone down, actually. That's gone down.
So here they range, obviously. They go from 4,400, and I think the most expensive ticket I could see that's available tonight is $93,000. It's close-ish to courtside. It's
Are you on StubHub? What are you on?
$93,000.
What are you on?
I'm on
today?
Vivid Seats.
Okay, wow.
And
That's significantly gone down. You sure you're looking at Game 3, right?
I am. Game 3 tonight.
Because we looked the other
Game
day,
3.
and it was over 10 for the
Yep.
cheapest seat in the house.
Yep.
But I
Yeah.
did see something that
Yeah.
was interesting. I belong to something called Knicks First,
Okay, I've
which
never
is
heard of
like
that. Okay.
it's like a little, you just sign up via email or whatever.
Okay.
But it's for diehard Knicks fans, and the Knicks send you alerts and information and emails, texts, whatever, however you want to get it, about their events. Like if they're having their own watch parties, here's where they are, and here's how you get a ticket or get, or sign up. So the Knicks do a lot of official things. And one of the other things, if you're in the Knicks First Club, is when tickets become available, they let you know, and you can kind of get in the queue. So you're kind of like an insider, it's a cool thing. Anyway, so I got informed this morning that, hey, tickets are available, so to speak. Okay, they're not really available. I'm never going to get one. But they were in that between $4,000 and $5,000 price. And I was like, what?
Oh.
Hey, whoa. I think these might be tickets. I don't understand how the whole ticket thing works sometimes. But these might be tickets that, how, what's supposed to happen, Paul, is the season ticket holders get their swing and then you release to the public.
Yes. Yep.
It's almost like they must hold a block or something and then release them,
Clearly.
to the minions,
Yeah.
And this is all done through Crazy Ticketmaster, who I'm not a big fan of, to be honest with you, with all of the stuff that's happened to it.
I'm just telling you, I'm seeing the view from the seat, and these seats are terrible for $5,000.
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, of course. It's still ridiculous.
It's showing me the view from the seat. I don't even know if I can make out what the hell is going on.
Hey.
When I hear everyone else celebrate, I guess I would, because that must mean something good happened. Like, oh boy. Anyway.
Okay, well, I must interrupt. I mean, sometimes we must interrupt, and sometimes you must interrupt when big things happen, Paul, and something big has just happened.
News?
So I got to let me just get up a volume here a second. I'll jump on over here. I'm doing a little adjusting here. All right, we got to do a
hell yeah.
Get the video ready, but T-Town Jet back in the house, gifts another 5 memberships via Venmo, Paul. Jump on that, baby. Pick a video for him.
Hey, yes, I will.
Yes.
I got the shakes that'll make you quake. I got the fries that'll cross your eyes. I got the burgers that'll... I just got burgers.
I just got burgers, baby.
And
we got more burgers. Thank you, T-Town.
Yeah.
And as they say, the tote board is heavy. He's already number 1 on the tote board. You just update him. Bang.
Yes.
63.
Wow,
63 raffle tickets. Again, I don't have the prizes with me because I'm down in New York. I was like, I'm not bringing the prizes with me. This is too much. All right, but remember the 2 really nice golf hats, the Titleist and Cleveland golf hats. Really, really nice white hats. Never worn before. Fantastic. The MC Show Digital laser engraved pint glass. And then, of course, the 2 boxing items. The Ali metal, standing ovalistin metal poster, one of the most iconic photos ever in the history of sports.
Yep.
Right. And the Angelo Dundee Burt Sugar with a foreword by Muhammad Ali book called My View from the Corner that is autographed by both Burt Sugar and Angelo Dundee, both of whom, unfortunately, are no longer with us. So kind of a cool collector's item, that book in magnificent shape. So you're getting all of that in the prize pack for whoever wins. And right now, T-Town Jet wants it, baby. He wants it. He needs it on that wall. He wants him on that wall. Fantastic.
And remember, folks, today is June 8th, and this works differently on the MC Show digital channel than the Boy Green channel for my raffles. It is the 22nd of every month. That's 2 weeks from today, as a matter of fact. So we'll get to do it live.
We're going to draw it live. We're going to get the old spinorama out there. And
yeah, there you go. Very nice. So the 22nd.
He's going to be like half the board right now.
Yeah, the pie. I've had that happen before, the few raffles, which is terrific. Thank you for the support.
Don't let him get away from you, folks. If you're interested in the items, don't let T-Town get away from you. Come on back. You can super chat, super sticker, everyone worth $3 will get you a ticket. If you are not already a member and you join up to the 12th Manchild, our lowest level, you get 2 automatic tickets. If you gift memberships, 2 per membership that you gift. And if you gift 5 or more, we'll give you 20 raffle tickets for every 5 that you gift. So a lot of ways to do it. T-Town just gifted 5. He used our Venmo, by the way, at MC Show Digital on both Venmo and PayPal. That's a great way to get the money directly to us, and then YouTube doesn't take a cut. You're more than welcome to do it through YouTube, and I know it's more convenient for a lot of you to do that. You just click on the little dollar sign on the right-hand side of the comments, and then you can pick what you're going to do, whether it's membership, whether it's just a super chat or a super sticker, and the amount. You can do it right there, but you can also just strictly, bang, just Venmo us or PayPal us. So if you have those kinds of things available to you, we get alerted right away. T-Town, I just saw, boom, popped up on my screen. All right, and so I want to give him some kudos. Thank you, T-Town. You've been incredibly generous. He already won our first month's raffle. And now he's coming back in month 3. He's coming strong, man. T-Town's coming very strong. So respect it, baby. Respect it very, very much. So thanks to everybody who contributes in any way, shape, or form. Whatever it is that you can afford. Hey, man, you got to have a ticket to, right? You got to be in it to win it, man. One ticket could win it for you. But T-Town wants it badly. So we'll see if he gets it. And you see it there in the scrolling ticker. Those are all the prizes that'll be running throughout the show. All right, so we will get to Knicks Spurs. I promise. I promise. I promise. We'll have a breakdown. We'll talk about my little buddy there and his argument for Mikal Bridges trade being a great trade for the Knicks. Not just a good trade, a great trade.
Great? Oh,
right. That's what he came out with me. He's coming out guns blazing. I was like, dude, just go back outside where you were, man. I don't want to hear this. And then he's like, just hear me out. Hear me out. I was like, go ahead. I'll hear you out. And then he started throwing stuff. I was like, yeah, and if they do win a title, it's the old thing, right? We're all gangbusters, right? We're about to get into some NFL talk here. Yeah. We're all gangbusters about the Rams.
Down what you're about to say on my hand.
We're all gangbusters about the Rams because look at the Rams. They're just all in, man. Like now that they went out and got Myles Garrett, they obviously have made some other big moves in the past, including their quarterback
Trent McDuffie. They traded for this offseason.
McDuffie this season as well. I mean, like the Rams a few years ago went all in and with Matthew Stafford, and it won them a Super Bowl. And now they're all in again. All right, and they're giving away the future. They're giving away the future. Hey, take that draft pick. Take this draft pick. We'll give you number 1. Who cares? All right, and because they're just all in right now. All right. Well, to a certain extent, I suppose. You could look at that Knicks trade from a couple of years ago and say the Knicks were going all in. And in the end, if indeed Bridges is a piece that helps bring them their championship that they haven't had in 53 years, you think anybody's going to go, no, that was a bummer. We gave away those those first-round draft picks, which, by the way, and I don't want to get any deeper than this into the argument. If you really think about it, a lot of those those first-round picks are late in the first round because the Knicks are so good. These are the Knicks picks. These are the, unprotected Knicks picks in the first round of each of these drafts coming up. Well, if you're finishing like the Knicks could be the last pick in the draft this year if they win the championship. What was that 30 or 32 teams I always mix them up, the NBA.
32.
But 32 teams. You're the 32nd pick in the NBA draft. Is that worth much, Boy Green? You're lucky if you get a starter or a reserve guy. Like it's a crapshoot. 32. Sure. Yeah. I'd argue outside the top 10 in the NBA is kind of a bit of a crapshoot. Certainly outside the top 15 is a bit of a crapshoot in the NBA draft. You're picking all the way at the bottom of the first round. That pick isn't worth all that much. So if you had 5 of those, that you gave away for Mikal Bridges, who's a 3-and-D player who helps you win a championship, you wouldn't trade that? You would because you're always on the side of do it, man, do it. And I'm always the cautious one. The cautious one here is telling you, hey, wait a minute, maybe this isn't so bad.
Well, I think it's not to make this super simple, and I know we're getting to other things too. If you win a championship, it's all worth it. Who won the Stafford trade? The Rams. They won the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter the iron price you paid to sit on the throne if you win the Super Bowl. If you don't win the championship, you blew it. It didn't work. It failed.
Correct. Right.
Simple.
So anyway, okay. So we'll get to some Knicks talk in the second half of the show, so to speak. But we are here to talk a little bit of NFL today. Now, I don't know if you know, Boy Green, your Jets don't start mandatory minicamp until the 16th, which is 8 days from today. The Giants start today. Giants minicamp, mandatory minicamp starts today. So
they break earlier for school.
Correct. So, all the teams are different. There's a whole calendar out if you want to find out who your favorite team, when your favorite team, starts mandatory minicamp. But mandatory minicamp for the Giants starts today. So we figured coming out of OTAs and now heading into mandatory minicamp, okay, let's talk about the Jets and the Giants in particular. Boy Green, as usual, will take the Jets. I'll take the Giants. There have been some things written about this. And what is it? What is the number one thing? What is the biggest remaining question mark for the Jets? What is the biggest remaining question mark for the Giants? Okay, so what is the biggest question mark? And then we'll answer that question through our own eyes. All right. And you're more than welcome to jump into the comments as well. Go ahead,
Real
Eugene.
quick, is that your friend calling you about another Mikhail Bridges point? Is that phone ringing? Is that him?
Tell you what, that is the one thing about when I'm here at my mom's is my mom still has the old school phone. She
That's
does have a cell
amazing.
phone too. She actually has an iPhone. All right. Which she
Okay.
doesn't know how to use them. I have to help her with everything. But, the woman's 88. I think I could give her a break.
But she still has
All
the
right?
landline.
But she has the landline.
That's amazing.
And she's got like 5 phones and they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're the little wireless ones that you pull off the receiver, but they'll sit on the receiver and then you pull them off. You can walk around. So they're not like wired to the wall. My mother isn't that old school, although that would be kind of cool. A little retro, right? No, but they're everywhere and they're around me. There's like one not too far from me on the other side of this room.
No matter what.
So, right. And they go, and then she always lets them go to the machine because she kind of screens them before she picks them up. She lives in a gated community. So a lot of times it's just the announcements, like this week going on, they tell everybody, bingo tomorrow night, this is, we're having a concert on Friday, reserve tickets, $25 each, reserved by tomorrow, go to this website to get, so it's, and when those come on, then the whole message plays over the machine and you can hear it here as we're on the show. So I'm sorry if you hear
I just wanted
interruptive
you
things,
to...
just understand there's nothing I
that's
can
fine.
do about it. I'm in my mom's house. I'm not going to turn her life upside down and backwards. She's accommodating me. So, I'm already,
of course.
I'm already like stealing the den away from anybody that wants to be up there.
Oh, you're in the den.
I'm in like I'm in like it's like a lofted den. All right. So I know like when you go to your dad's, you're in that crazy like loft where you can see like the ceiling is like right over your head. Well, this doesn't have that kind of ceiling, but I'm on the second floor and there are like windows, like she has really high windows in the house and they're around me in every direction here. But yeah, I'm in essentially with a den. There's a formal living room and a formal dining room and a big kitchen downstairs.
Nice.
And then one bedroom, her bedroom is downstairs. So she could literally live on the first floor if she wanted. She has everything down there. Bathroom, full bath, half bath, kitchen, everything on the ground floor. But this is like, I call it the den or the TV room. This is where typically if we're going to watch TV,
the activity's happening.
We watch it up here. And then there's 2 more bedrooms up here. So, but yeah, that's a nice place. So, but anyway, yeah, that's where I am. So I'm in this, and it's open in every way. Like, so it's open to the front door, which is kind of almost directly in front of me, but down a flight. It's open to the formal dining room and the living room over this way, because I'm just looking down to those. So I'm not in an enclosed space at all. I'm in a totally open.
Oh, so that's good and bad because any conversation voices
correct.
are
like she's in the kitchen on the phone talking to someone. I'm like, shh, I'm over here, because it bounces up here. It's very cavernous in this house. It's a little wacky, but she's actually going out in another 25 minutes or so. She has an engagement, so it'll get quiet, and I'll be the only one here in the house. So, but right now, could be a little noisy. There could be doorbells ringing, there could be phones ringing, yada yada.
Okay, all right.
And by the way, because the quickie, I'm down here obviously for the Knicks and everything, and to see my son and my family. But I've been catching up with some friends. Nick Lamangino, aka the guy that wrote and delivered, or Nicky, right? Correct, as you can say now. He's given you permission. You are now in the you're now in the Circle of Trust.
I'm in the Circle of Trust.
You're in the Circle of Trust. You can call him Nicky. Nicky Lamangino is actually coming by for a visit today. So he's actually coming here after the live show to visit with me for a while. We're gonna hang out. I don't know what we're gonna do. They
are you guys playing music?
They got all kinds of cool things. So no, I don't have. I told you I don't have any of my access.
But he has extras. I saw his.
Yeah, he might have a bass guitar. I think he does have a bass guitar down there.
That's what I'm saying. You can rip some. He tosses you a guitar, and you guys just bring up the old band days.
I'll tell you what I will do is the next time, kind of in recent times that I've gone down to New York, it's been like either I go visit him or he comes here. Like I've been ping pong because I don't want to make him come out. It's a little bit of a drive. He's about 45 minutes from me.
Okay.
That's not so terrible, it's either 45-minute drive for me in, or it's a 45-minute drive for him out. Yeah. So last time I went there, and so I said to him, I'm willing to do whatever. I'm the one here. I love to get together. But I got the show and everything. Maybe you want to come out, and then you could come out literally while I'm on the show. And then as soon as I wrap up the show, we go do something, be early in the afternoon and so forth. Cause I got the Knick game to worry about later, we'll get into that a little later too. So anyway, so he's gonna come out and visit. So Nick Lamangino, who wrote our theme song, and you hear his voice on our theme song at the front of every video on our live show, he's coming in for a visit. But I'll tell you what, my promise to you is this, BG.
Ooh, okay.
Next time I go to him, so the next trip, theoretically, if I get to visit with him the next time I come down, I will ask him if we can do something together and record it.
Oh, you got to
So,
record.
so maybe, I'll, have to come freaking try and remember something that I haven't played in 100 years. But maybe we'll do dare I say, a bit of a jam session with me on the bass, and we'll record it. We'll video and audio record it, and then we'll bring it.
Okay, you guys going to grab the spandex and stuff, or get the whole shish kebab? You might as well if you're getting the band back together.
Now, the funny thing about spandex is you think, well, I might not fit in those spandex, but spandex, they stretch.
Stretches.
They stretch. I mean, I'd look horrific in them, but yeah, they stretch.
All right.
Back then, I was like a nice slim guy, and
yeah.
Not that I'm fat now, but I'm
right.
I've rounded out a little bit there.
We all round out.
We all got to round out a little bit. I was a little more edgy back then.
Okay,
edges.
nice. Okay.
So anyway, so I'll try to do that. That would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun. Great. All right. Anyway, topic A is Jets Giants, and we're going to talk about essentially the biggest remaining question mark for each of our teams. So you're going to do the Jets. I'm going to do the Giants. Which way you want to go first? Your choice.
All right, I'll be that guy because it's going to be a lot of Knicks later, which is you. So I guess we'll start off here with a little bit of Jets. And to me, there's two ways I could have gone. You could go Geno. That's sort of the obvious thing. Like, who's the real Geno? Is it the Seattle Seahawks version? Is it the Raiders version? Is it option C? It's somewhere in between, like everything in life. That could be if someone said that's a question, I would totally tip the cap and say that makes a lot of sense. But I'm not going to go in the obvious direction. I'm going to go in the slightly less obvious, but still pretty, like I'm not breaking any limbs here. Does Aaron Glenn have the chops to be the defensive play caller for the New York Jets? Because if he does, the world is our oyster. The Jets can surprise people. They could go above the 5.5 win total that is projected from Vegas. Aaron Glenn can keep his job, and all's well in the universe if he is a halfway decent defensive play caller. If he is not, Aaron Glenn will be. He received a shovel in January. He's like, "What am I digging this hole for?" We'll let you know. And he's just digging the hole, digging the hole, digging the hole. And he's like, wow, this seems pretty big and deep. What is this for? Laying it, Aaron Glenn, because that's where it's happening if he does not deliver. So really, quite frankly, it's the chops. And it's interesting. I believe that a big reason he was hired is the chops that he proved in Detroit. Now, some people, and Jake has joined our show, speaking of Jake earlier, and he questions the numbers. He says, I don't know. I look at these numbers, and I don't even think Aaron Glenn was that great at calling defense with Detroit. So I don't know what he's going to be now, is some of the things Jake has said in the past. So Aaron Glenn has to prove it. And he's had months to prepare. He has the perfect roster to, at least to him, who knows to us, draft, free agency, everything, trades, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Like, he added everything to this roster that he wanted. He's calling the defensive play, so there's no excuses. So to me, that's the biggest remaining question. We've seen a little bit in OTAs of him calling the defense and getting the beat reporter's assessment of that process. But training camp, preseason, regular season gets here. How does he balance? How good of a circus performer is he? Can he juggle those balls in the air of being the head coach and being the defensive play caller? To me, that is clearly the biggest remaining question for the New York Jets, and obviously will help determine whether the season is a success or a failure.
I don't disagree. I mean, I think that Glenn, I think he's lucky to survive. He's lucky to have survived. I think it is always hard to fire a coach after 1 year. I mean, it's just so small a sample size. And this is not, a young guy. This is not like, okay, you took the hot OC, you thought he could be good, even though he didn't have all the experience in the world. The team that he was with the year before, they were phenomenal. Their offense looked great, and you grabbed them, or if it was a DC, but the same thing with the defense. This is a guy that's been around. And then he also has the added caveat of being a Jet, that the guy played for the team. Right. He was a good player for the team, a defensive back. People liked him. People bought his jerseys. He's a known entity in the Jets nation. So you have all of that on the pile. And then he goes out there and lays an egg like he does and ends up with the number 2 pick in the draft. And then the way they got blown out late in the season, it was just like, oh my God, like, how do you run this thing back? How do you do it? But he's going to have, I think it's just going to be one more swing at the piñata to really prove his worth. I think the biggest question I have, I'll ask you this question. I might have asked it to you before, but I'll keep asking it to you right until we get to the season. is what is a good season for Aaron Glenn? Like, what's the number? There has to be a number, Paul. There has to be a number where you have to say, either as a Jets fan or maybe more importantly as Jets front office / ownership, what is the number that Aaron Glenn needs to get to this year for me to say, okay, he's back on for year 3, and we're going to go back to the draft with him with all of these picks that we have, starting with 3 in the first round at this point, and do it all over again and try and give him a really, really worthy young roster to do something with here in year 3. What is the number? Is there a number? What's the number?
I believe there is a number. And if it's this number or above, I think Aaron Glenn is absolutely unequivocally safe. Like, I don't know what could happen with this number I'm about to say, and he would get fired.
Well, maybe I'm going to ask you it this way then.
Ooh, okay.
What's the number where he's absolutely safe? What's the number where, you know, we're in the 50-50 world, and what is the number with he's gonzo? Okay. There you go.
To me,
give you some options here.
Yeah, sure. I don't mind multiple choice. The absolute safety to me is 7 wins. If he gets to 7 wins,
so he doesn't even have to get to 500. And you say he's back. Okay.
No, because like 500 would be there's no 500 with wins and losses anymore with the 17-game schedule. So that means he would have to get to above 500. Essentially, he'd have to be 9-8, and that would be amazing if that could happen. But the Jets have not had a winning season in 11 years. So. And yesterday is not a precursor of the future. We see worst to first all the time, so it can happen, but still, I would say 70's unequivocally safe, and he's coming back. He would have shown enough progress in that time. I think 5 or fewer, he is fired. No questions asked. I don't care what the rationale is. 5 or fewer, I think I don't give a flying crap what injury occurred. There's no excuses. 5 or fewer, and you weren't able to rally the group, you're fired. And that's where, if you can do the math, there's a magical number in between. That is that in between where we start going, and that's 6 people. 5 or fewer, fired. 7 or more, safe. 6, you get to 6, and you're like, it is double last season, but I don't think you can suck, whether on purpose or not, and then you just do better than that. You're like, aha, see, look. Yeah, but you shouldn't have done as poorly as you did in year 1. So, sure, you're pointing to year 1 and saying, look, I doubled it. I had 3 wins last year. I have 6. That's progress. That is, but that's not enough. I think 6 is where it gets froggy. I don't think he's clearly fired because maybe there's some – what if he ups it? What if his 6 wins are like he beat the Bills in Buffalo and they – they showed competency. They lost a lot of close games. That's where we all get lost in context, and that's where it gets very difficult for me. But I want to try to remove as much extracurricular activity as possible. Remove as much excuses, as much, but what if so that's how I sort of color it. 5 or fewer, fired. 7 or more, safe. 6, there is in every exactly. In every MMA gym, Lurch, it's written up there. It's written in the UFC when you watch Ultimate Fighter. Don't leave it in the hands of the judges. And that means in a UFC fight, normally there's 3 rounds or 5 minutes apiece. You have a chance to win the fight during the fight. Knockout, TKO, submission, all kinds of ways you can win. But if the final bell rings on the final 3rd round, it is now in the hands of the judges to interpret who they believe won. It says in every MMA gym, do not leave it in the hands of the judges. Aaron Glenn, if you end with 6 wins, you leave it in the hands of the judges. And the judge in this case, judge, jury, and executioner, is Woody Johnson. And if you have 6, he now has to start weighing things and going back and forth. If I'm Aaron Glenn, I don't want my boss to be weighing back and forth. I want it to be emphatic. Oh, he's clearly coming back. If you leave it at 6, I think you leave it to interpretation, and that could be bad news.
All right. I like the way you phrased that, and I think that's fair. I think what you've laid out is honestly fair. I think it's more than fair because I don't know. I thought you were going to say 8 or 9 for a lock, absolute, sure. And then give me that, 6 or 7, 6 to 8, we'll see, and then, 5 or less, bye-bye.
And there's a lot of people who disagree, right? We had Jake on the show, and we were arguing back and forth. He went,
what did he say?
He said, well, 7, but what if you win 6 of the final 8, and that was your 7? What if all the teams you beat suck? And I'm like, well, I don't know. They should have beaten a lot of teams last year that they didn't. I'm not going to start nitpicking and saying, we need wins. Well, those wins weren't good enough. No, like I would love an upset sprinkled in there if he can beat a
Yeah.
team you're not supposed to beat. But beating the teams you're supposed to beat, which obviously Vegas doesn't think that's going to happen a lot since they have a 5.5 over under win total. To me, I think those are fair lines, and maybe to your point, even more than being too fair, perhaps Darren Glenn giving him too much of a fighting shot with those odds. But yeah, to me, I think that's where we get rid of a lot of the extracurricular storylines if we make it a little bit more black and white. Woody's not. I'm sure he didn't tell AG, "Hey, buddy, you got to get 5 more, or 6 or more, or 7 or more, this or that."
Gotcha.
I'm sure it's he's just got to win, and let's see if he can.
Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. There's our YouTube link right there, youtube.com/@MC Show Digital. Don't forget to like our video on the way in if you haven't already. And also, if you're not already a subscriber, please click that subscribe button. We are, I think I looked early this morning, 66 subscribers away from
I
1,000.
believe
So
I'm double checking right now.
in. Come on, man.
66.
Push us over. Oh, like
Yes.
a cool number, Route 66. All right, I want to get
There
off
you
Route
go.
66 and
Yes.
get on to something else. So we're 66 subscribers away from 1,000. We're trying to get there by our 1-year anniversary. We've got about a month to go. So come on, man, get us to the finish line. It really would be awesome for us to meet that goal. We're going to meet it inevitably, but I'd love to meet it before we get to our 1-year anniversary, which is kind of a goal that me and Boy Green had set out all those months ago. Let's think modestly, but at the same time, hope for the best. And so for every one of you that, by the way, has taken that time, taking your time to click that subscribe button. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it, how humbled we are by you, and how we appreciate you showing up here oftentimes every day or most days or some days, getting in the comments, as many of you have this morning, and saying hello or saying something more meaningful about the content that we're putting out. So please continue to do that, and we appreciate every single time that you jump in and do that. We are presented today by our friends at Northeast Roofing Professionals, NERPCNY.com. You see their logo right above us. Up here in the center of the screen, right there they are. Beautiful. Look, I'm pointing the right way, Boy Green. Amazing.
There you go.
All right. I still haven't really gotten it, but I'm starting to get it. Anyway, so go see our friends at Northeast Roofing, especially if you live in the communities of Fayetteville and DeWitt. But go to NERPCNY and give them a call. If you're anywhere in the central New York area, they might still be able to come and do your roof or repair your roof, but they specialize in doing roofing in Fayetteville and DeWitt, particular to those two areas. All right. Anyway, so we appreciate them and their sponsorship as our title sponsor here of the Manchild Show with Boy Green digital channel here on YouTube. So much appreciated there. All right. We are talking all things Jets and Giants. So Boy Green has laid it out. His number one biggest remaining question mark for the Jets as they head here into mandatory minicamp and coming out of OTAs is, can Aaron Glenn push the right buttons as the play caller for the defense? All right. We'll see if he can use that superpower that he laid out last year. That was a bad quote. He should have never said that.
Yeah.
Now that's going to
Earlier this
live
offseason,
in
as a matter
infamy
of
forever.
fact.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
That was earlier this offseason. Yeah, you better
Yes,
stop with the
unfortunately.
superpowers. All right. How about just show powers? Just show human powers
Sure.
here and
Yeah,
get
that'd
the
be
job
great.
done. Get
Any
the job
powers.
done.
Yeah.
Grind. So now it's my turn. All right. We flip it to the
Okay.
other side. All right. So
Nice.
what is the biggest remaining question for the Giants in OTAs? I must admit, Boy Green, I'm a little, I'm in between here a little bit.
Okay.
But I
right.
think I'm going to stick to my guns, but I'm going to mention two things and then kind of
Okay.
settle on one. So here are the two places.
Sure.
I'm just going to throw
Okay.
my spectacles on here. So I have a couple of notes
Okay.
that I wrote down just so I
Okay.
have the names here to protect the innocent. All right. So there are many out there that would say wide receiver. Why
Yeah.
wide receiver? You would think, like, come on, you've got Malik Neighbors on your team. You
Sure.
re-signed Darius Slayton. You
Mhm.
drafted Malachi Fields. Heck, recently we even went out and got 3 old guys and hoping that, a couple of them can push
Why
the
not?
sun back up into the sky and be
Right.
great again, And then they went out also and got Darnell Mooney and Calvin Austin, who are, Mooney, a guy that's had some good seasons and has shown some genuine promise at times, not coming off the greatest season in the world, but has shown
He's
the
a
ability
gamer. He's an
to be
NFL
guy. And then
Mhm.
Calvin Austin III, a guy that, the Steelers had a lot of hope for. And
Young
he's
player,
kind of, young player with a kind of a nice ceiling, but hasn't really, flowered yet.
Mhm.
What is his future? If he's in the right system, could he become, a good wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3, inevitably, if he lived up to his potential? Maybe he could, maybe not. So they've got a whole, it's a smorgasbord. All right. But you would think with all of that in the cupboard, Boy Green, why the heck are we talking about wide receiver as the one biggest remaining question mark for the New York Football Giants? Well, the reason we're talking about it is because it really does appear more and more, and we're still got months here, but it's becoming more and more clear through the veiled comments of those that are behind the scenes knowing what's going on, that Malik Neighbors may very well not be ready for game one,
Yeah.
and that with the injury that he's had and now the cleanup operation that has followed, that even when he comes back, let's say it's week 3, week 4 of the NFL season, just to throw it out there. I have no knowledge that says it's going to be one of those things, that it may not even be, a truly back to where he was before the injury Malik Neighbors. Is this going to be like a guy who's had Tommy John surgery? It's like, okay, he's back and he's pitching now after this big long layoff, but let's give him, a half a season to a full season to essentially get back to the form before the operation. There's a lot of noise about that with Malik Neighbors. So number one, is he going to make it back for the opener? And then number two, how far into the season? And then number three, will he be himself, when he returns? So with all of that out there, when you lose your number one, and then your number one is Darius Slayton, maybe, who, by the way, has a core muscle injury. He's who knows
recovering
100% if he's back for the start of the season. The word on Slayton is better, at least that I've heard at this point.
Right. He should be ready for the start of training camp, I've heard.
Should be ready for training camp, which is obviously well before
late July.
season.
Right.
But this is core muscle surgery. And to be honest with you, I'm not getting excited, Boy Green, as a Giants fan, if Darius Slayton is now number one until Malik Neighbors gets back. That's pretty bad. That's not a good receiving core if you're going to look at everybody you've got on that buffet table and say, like, leader in the clubhouse, Darius Slayton. I didn't even like him all that much. I didn't even love that they re-signed him, to be honest with you.
Wow. Okay.
And now he's going to be number one receiver. He's going to lead that group. I'm not thrilled about that at all. So for all of those reasons, but primarily the Malik Neighbors injury and then throw in the Darius Slayton thing, one would think maybe you want to go with receiver. And I know somebody, I forget who the author was on ESPN, but somebody out there in the ESPN world wrote a piece and was talking all about that.
Which makes sense.
I'm going to make an argument for another position. One that I thought going into the draft was an issue, one that they did address in the draft, but I just think it's a pivotal position in football. It's become really, really important, over the last couple of decades. It's a position that you pay guys who are really good money for that position. All right. And that position that I'm about to talk about is cornerback. All right. I think having good corners in the NFL is really, really important to your defense being strong. It helps your pass rush. It helps everything. It stops big plays. It allows you to blitz when you have corners that can cover on their own and you can leave them out there on an island, so to speak, with a really good number one receiver and know they're trustworthy. And here's the Giants. I mean, so I just gave you the wide receiver room, all right? Neighbors, when he comes back, Slayton, Malachi Fields, the third round pick who the Giants seem to be very high on and had apparently a very nice OTA. All right. Odell Beckham Jr. now back in the fold. Okay. Braxton Berrios, as a kick and punt returner, but also can go out there and catch passes. All right. I mentioned Mooney. I mentioned Austin, Juju Smith-Schuster, who the Giants are also giving a look here, a tryout, so to speak. So that's a lot of names. And the reason I'm not going to go receiver, and I'm going to talk to you about corner, is because you have to include Isaiah Likely and Theo Johnson in that conversation. I know they're tight ends. They're not wide receivers, but they are part of the catching group. And I think the catching group is one big happy unit. And I think with Likely, with Theo Johnson, with perhaps an emerging Malachi Fields, with maybe one of those three old veterans, pushing the sun back up into the sky one more time and showing up a little bit, that the Giants actually, even if Neighbors is out at the beginning of the season, will be okay. They'll be able to weather the storm. All right. Corner worries me a lot more. Here's the depth chart for the Giants cornerback position.
Here we go.
Starting on one corner right now, according to the Giants depth chart, is Paulson Adebo. All right. A guy that went out last year and got in free agency. He's a pretty good player. I mean, it's a pretty good player. But last year was definitely underwhelming. His performance last year was definitely underwhelming.
Okay.
So he's numero uno. He's your wide receiver one. He's not corner one.
That's
CB1.
concerning, but okay.
That's concerning. All right. If he's CB2, you feeling all right?
Yeah, I do. He's solid. He's fine.
Yeah. Absolutely. But he's CB1. All right. CB2 is Greg Newsome II from the Cleveland Browns. Okay. Yes, he's the starting corner on the other side. as of right now, Boy Green. We'll see. Maybe Hood can unseat him in training camp. We might see. All right.
Okay.
But Greg Newsome II is on the other side. All right.
Okay.
So you've got kind of a Debo, pretty good guy, pretty reliable,
Yeah.
but, didn't have a great season last year. Greg Newsome, who's really,
It's a reach
the
as a
Browns just like,
starter.
yeah, let's get rid of that guy.
Yeah,
This is
right.
the Browns going, yeah, we can get rid of that guy. All right. He's the other starting corner.
Oh, boy.
Now, Colton Hood, they did address it in the draft.
Oh, yes,
thank God.
Tennessee.
All right. And I
Talented
think they got a
player.
good one. Okay. We'll
I do
see
too.
if he turns
I like
into
him
a
a
good
lot.
one. But I
Yep.
like the physical traits. I like what I've seen on his tape, so on and so forth. Okay. So Colton Hood, an emerging guy, but you don't want to start a rookie corner if you don't have to. Right. So,
Sure.
it really feels like they're going to try to start Newsome, and then Hood will be, the third wheel guy. Or if somebody gets hurt, and he might be forced. And then the fourth cornerback on the depth chart right now is a guy that you wonder is even going to be on the roster, but I think he'll have to be on the roster, I suppose, is Tay Banks, the guy that was picked in the first round a few years ago.
Oh, Jesus.
He's number 4, Boy Green. He's number 4
Boy.
on the depth
And
chart.
he's one injury away from working himself in because, right, especially if you're playing nickel, you have your boundary corners, you have a slot corner on the field too. A lot of
Right.
teams play nickel. Oh, boy.
So you tell me, are you more worried about what's going on in the receiver room, or are you more worried about what's going on in the corner room? Okay? Because the receiver room, at
Yes.
least I know I've got some darts at the dartboard. I've got Isaiah Likely coming in. Theo Johnson's already proven he can do some things. Maybe one of those old guys pushes the sun back up. Malachi Fields could turn into something. Slayton should be back. Maybe Neighbors makes a better recovery than we think, and he's back earlier than we think. But there's just more, and then Mooney and Austin, two guys that actually can play at the NFL level and have proven that they can play at the NFL level. Can they raise their game is the question with the Giants, but they certainly are serviceable. Okay. So that to me feels better than Paulson Adebo, Greg Newsome, Colton Hood, a rookie, and Tay Banks. That's the corner room right now. All right. Everybody else in that room, there are some other names. You want to hear them? I mean,
Yeah, sure.
I'll give them to you if you want. Here are the other
Yeah,
guys.
go ahead.
I've never heard of these guys. Okay. And I'm, a diehard Giant fan. Okay. Other guys on the list: Corey Black, Art Green.
Oh, former Jet. Okay.
There you go. All right.
Right. Who is the guy after Corey Black, you said?
Art Green, Jarek Bernard Converse.
Former Jet as well. Wow, you got a lot of
wow.
former Jets.
2
back
former
there.
Jets.
Okay.
And Rico Payton. Okay.
Not a former Jet.
That is
Okay,
the
wow.
entire corner room. That's 8
And
guys.
none of those
the
players are
corner room.
made up. That wasn't one of
No,
those.
those are
games
all
where
real
you
guys.
just started
Yeah, reading
naming
them right off
people,
the
and I'm like,
Giants
oh,
depth chart there. Okay, so
wow.
that's the rest of the corner room. Okay, so you understand where I'm coming from now. I respect the writers of ESPN and the people that put out these things, and I think the corner position is a far greater concern for the Giants.
I mean, I'm concerned. Candidly, I'm concerned about both. To be honest,
of course, sure.
The thing that does, and I see Sharon's in our chat. She's a fellow Notre Dame Golden Domer. I like Malachi Fields, but I don't like the message it sends. The Giants, with all due respect, signed 3 has-been receivers in Braxton Berrios, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Odell Beckham Jr. If you like what you've seen from Malachi Fields, are you signing 3 of those receivers to add to your roster? Like, I don't want them taking away reps from Malachi Fields if I think Malachi Fields can be an instant contributor. Now, don't get me wrong, the Malik Neighbors injury, I think, there's some hidden message, not so hidden messaging here that they want to have other receivers ready. If he cannot go at the beginning of the season, you need other guys ready too. But yeah, I don't think I would have added the 3 receivers if I felt good about Malachi, but that seems like an overreaction. You've only seen him for a month and change, but yeah, that's the part. So, I mean, both are concerning, but I would agree with you over ESPN. I'm taking Manchild over the 4 letters. I'm taking you. I think corner is much worse. When you read those names and then just think of one injury, like that's bad, but think about one injury happens. Good Lord. What if, who's number 1? Paulson Adebo? What if I don't want anyone getting hurt. What if he gets hurt? What the hell's the plan then? Oh boy. It
means Tay Banks is your slot guy. Like he's playing regularly,
Oh geez.
Or Newsom is the slot guy and Banks is the starter. Like this is scary stuff. This is scary stuff
out there.
So I don't know if the Giants are done there with the corner, and they'll be one of those teams probably looking, when we get really to full training camps and cuts happen, are there any serviceable corners here that we can bring in and just fatten up that depth chart just a little bit? But I think corners are greater concern. There were really our only 4 names, and I don't even know if I trust Tay Banks at all. So that means there might only be 3 names, and one of them is a rookie who's never played a snap at the NFL level.
Lurch, there's some good
that's
name
scary.
corners out there right now.
Who's out there?
So Marshawn Lattimore, he's a former top pick of the
I know he
Saints.
is.
He was on the Commanders. He's only 30. Like, I know he's had some injury
He
issues.
slowed down a bit, but
yeah. Okay.
no doubt, still a serviceable guy for sure.
Here's a guy, a name that you will know, and you saw in Hard Knocks a couple years ago. Trayvon Diggs. He's 28 years old. He's a free agent. He's just hanging out there in the wind. Again,
That's
he's had
interesting.
injury issues, but
Right.
like, what do you have to lose? And then this one had some off the field flavor. L'Jarius Sneed was a top corner for the Chiefs, got traded to the Titans, and then he had some off field flavor, but he was just cleared of all his off field stuff that was alleged. He's completely clear. So he's a
Okay.
free agent. He just had a visit with the Chiefs last week. And Kenny Moore was just cut by the Indianapolis Colts. He's a really talented slot corner. And then Tre'Davious White's still out here too. And Tre'Davious White had some moments last year. So I don't know. If I'm the
There's
Giants,
some options. Definitely.
you just signed the 3 random receivers after a workout. I'm signing like 3 of these corners, man. And
Not a bad idea.
For God's sakes. I mean, honestly.
Well, listen, I mean, I'll give credit where credit's due. I mean, Harbaugh is, him and his staff, and they have moved quickly. They have been fairly decisive. Once they got past the draft and they knew they had to address that defensive tackle position, they got very aggressive. And, I know it's not exactly a laundry list of all pros,
Right.
but they went out and found depth and got a good group of guys who will be able to man that position. They may not be the best in the NFL at that spot in the league. excuse me. But they are, they'll be able to play. They have played NFL snaps. They have been in the lineup for teams. So I tend to think that corner has got to be on their list. It's got to be. The Giants have to be thinking about corner, don't they? They have to be.
I would hope so. I would hope so. I'd be thinking about it every night before I go to sleep if I'm Harbaugh or Shane or anyone.
Might not be getting any sleep. All right, Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. Don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to our channel. We really do appreciate it when you do that. We are presented today by our friends at Northeast Roofing Professionals, NERPCNY.com. We'll take 30 seconds here from our friends at Northeast, and then we're back. More Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. We'll get into the comments, so if you're making comments, jump in there, get into them. We're still going to talk Knicks Game 3 Spurs tonight. The Knicks going for the sweep if they can get another one. Also, if the Knicks were to sweep the Spurs, win 2 more games, they would tie the all-time record in NBA playoff history for the most consecutive wins in a row. That record is held by the Golden State Warriors, and it is 15 in a row. The Knicks have now won 13 in a row, so they would have to sweep, and then they would be able to tie the all-time record. Right now, they sit alone at number 2 in NBA history. All right, back at 30 seconds. Stick around.
Finding the right local roofing company can be tricky. You don't want to hire the wrong roofers, or you could end up spending a fortune on repairs. The pros at Northeast Roofing Professionals can ensure your home is protected by a strong and sturdy roof. Locally owned and operated, over 30 years experience, free estimates, and competitively priced. Don't settle for an inexperienced roofing contractor. Turn to Northeast Roofing Professionals. Discounts for military and first responders. Reach out and let them put a sturdy roof over your head. NERPCNY.com. NERPCNY.com.
All right, we're back. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. Welcome aboard, everybody. Don't forget, raffle month underway. We will draw on the 22nd of the month. Our prize pack, including a Muhammad Ali metallic tin poster standing over Sonny Liston, one of the iconic photos, an autographed Angelo Dundee Burt Sugar boxing book about Angelo Dundee's time as the cornerman and trainer of Muhammad Ali. Very, very cool. Autographed by both Burt Sugar and Angelo Dundee. The laser engraved MC Show Digital 12th Manchild pint glass.
Yep.
And 2 wonderful hats in honor of the U.S. Open, which is coming up just in a couple of weeks, Father's Day weekend, right here on Long Island at Shinnecock. Which is in
Titleist and Cleveland
area.
are the 2 hats. Titleist and Cleveland.
There you go. Titleist hat, Cleveland hat. Really, really nice, sharp-looking hats. I didn't bring them with me here on the trip, folks. I'm down in New York, covering the Knicks and experiencing the fervor. I don't know, BG.
How is it, Lurch? Let me ask you. Come on, how is it? How's the atmosphere around town? You've been there since pre-game 1, I believe. So, and that was in San Antonio, of course, for game 1 and game 2. You've been around the fervor, the energy, the city that, the place that in which you grew up in. What is it electric? I imagine it is now, but has it been electric? Does it continue to be electric? Give us the pulse here.
It's off the charts insane is what it is.
Mm.
Going back to, again, the watch party that I went to on what night was it now?
Friday.
Friday night. Okay,
Friday
game
was
2.
game 2. Yep.
All right. So I wasn't even in Manhattan. I wasn't even in New York City. I was in one of the boroughs, Queens.
Mhm.
Okay. Maybe about 20 minutes from New York City. At a pretty big pub that has a big outdoor space. We were hoping to get in the outdoor space, but they had a big event going on when we arrived at 5 o'clock. I was like, what's going on? I thought we were going to be walking into a fairly empty place and just holding our spot for 3.5 hours. And like they were having some big event. So I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if we're going to get in the outdoor space tonight. I was hoping to sit outside. It was a wonderful night, and they really pack it in the outside space too.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
everybody's going crazy. And when you're outside, in all due respect, especially if you get a nice night, you can talk to the person across the table from you because sound kind of goes off into it spreads. When you're indoors, it bounces off the walls. And you've been in
Hey,
loud
what
places,
was
and
that?
you got the clanking glasses and hey, get me there. And people are screaming.
TV's on, right? No, there's
and
no
I'll tell you what happened to me real quick, a side story. What happened to me was I'd say we were about a quarter into the game.
Okay.
And I was realizing that just talking to the people at my table, once they cranked up the TVs, which was about a half hour before the game started, they cranked the TVs to full volume. I was like, oh my God, I should have brought my earplugs. It's loud as hell in here, right? But they wanted you to be able to hear the game, which I love.
Yeah.
But it was really, really loud. It had a phenomenal sound system. And I realized by the end of the first quarter, just from number one, just chanting, let's go Knicks, and defense, and everything else that was going on, that I was starting to stress my voice. I was like, whoa, holy crow, man. I'm feeling really serious stress on my voice.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is stupid, man. I got to stop yelling. I'm going to lose my voice. My voice is what I do, So I was like, okay. So luckily I realized it early when I was just starting to feel that, that thing coming.
Yeah.
And so I basically, from that point on, just during the game, I was just like fist pump guy, high five guy, but I wasn't saying a word, or if I was just saying it at normal volume. Yeah, just at normal.
Or were you doing your Toy Story thing? Let's go Knicks.
No, I didn't do that. No, you're talking about throwing my voice? My voice?
I don't know if that adds any extra.
Let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks.
See?
Let's go Knicks.
You can start that chant. Wait, who said that back there? Let's go Knicks. That's good. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, just like when you were at the draft, there were chants going on. There was, the crowd was into it. The crowd was into it. Once
you noticed it early, and you said,
I noticed it early, and I stopped myself.
Smart,
and then when I did walk out, I was like, okay, I didn't blow it out because I could have blown it out in one night. And
Jake did. I just heard him on his show yesterday.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. It's just like, hey guys. It's like,
you get caught up in it, man. You can't stop. Like, it's just the adrenaline's flowing. You don't even realize how loud you're talking, how much you're screaming, how much you're just
especially in a loud place where you think you're talking normal, but you're just overcompensating. And then after you're like, oh, my voice.
So I caught myself about a quarter into the game, and then I took it way down. Was like just hyper aware, and then I walked out fine, and I was like, "Thank God, I could have blown it. Could have blown it out." Anyway, where was I on the story? Back to the story.
Yes,
the real
right. So I'm asking about the
U.S. is a palpable in New York.
Yeah,
so number one, just insanity. Chance during the game, having to get there at 5 o'clock. The place is filled at 5 o'clock, by the way.
Okay.
And this is in Queens. We're not even talking about Manhattan. After the game, the people literally hugging each other, high-fiving each other, people you had no idea. If you were wearing anything Knicks, because I was wearing the Brunson jersey you see on my shoulder, you know, Brunson, yeah, Knicks. People were screaming at each other, pointing at each other. It's just, but just to take it a step further, just in normal life. Okay, so that's a watch party. That's leaving a watch party. You expect that you're going to be, among the many who are rooting for the Knicks.
Right.
Yesterday, I visited with a friend about an hour away, back in Nassau County of Island, and we went to a diner and just had a little bite. And
love diners.
Had a little convo, and then after the diner, we went across the street to a grocery store. He had to pick up a couple items before he went back to his house. I dropped them off, and then I took off and came back out to my mom's. So we spent a couple hours together in diner. Okay. There literally were people. I was wearing this Knicks hat that I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
There literally were people, at least 5 people in the diner that walked by, saw me wearing the Knicks hat. I'm like, yeah, Brunson, yeah, hey, yeah. And then in the diner itself, this diner. It's been called the New Hyde Park Diner forever. Okay. 40 something years. Okay. Ownership just sold it. And so the new ownership group literally has like come in the last week. I didn't know this. I'm just going to the
okay.
diner that I've
All right.
met my friend at a few times. He lives right near it. And so it's a halal diner. It's an all halal diner now.
What's that mean?
No pork.
Wow,
Beyond that, I don't really know a ton about halal, but it's, you know,
all
it's
right.
it's a specific genre of food around, you know, a specific culture.
Oh, okay.
But you know, you could get eggs and everything. You could get at a diner there, you know, but you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
get like a regular bacon. You get turkey bacon or beef bacon. You don't get pork bacon. So yeah, there's some rules in the halal
right.
world. Okay.
Okay.
As someone who knows all about that, I'm not the guy.
Okay.
You know, I know
All
my
right.
rudimentary little bit that I
Sure,
do, and
sure.
I move on with my life.
Okay.
But anyway,
They just changed ownership.
the new
Okay.
owner, the new manager comes down to, you know, hey, how are you guys? You know, just greet us after we've gotten our food and everything good, you know, kind of thing. And he says, hey, by the way, my friend says, I've been coming here for 25 years because he lives right nearby.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, I heard you guys took over, you know, good luck. He says, hey, come for another 25, you know, we want to keep you here kind of thing.
I
right?
bet. I'm sure.
And then he says, hey, and by the way, right. And again, probably because I was wearing this hat, I don't know. He didn't say it for sure. He says, hey, on Monday night and Wednesday night, we'll have the game on here, all of our screen. They had a bunch of TV screens in the place. We'll have the game
at a
on
diner.
here, so feel free to
Interesting.
come.
Okay.
A diner, right? This is
Wow,
just an
that's
ordinary,
weird.
you know, local diner. And he's saying, hey, sound up, game's on. All right. On Monday night.
It's a weird venue for me. I can't imagine.
It's our venue.
Let's go to our
Certainly.
diner. Like,
But
that's
in
weird.
this
Okay.
world, Paul,
Yeah.
we're going to say a pub that you enjoy, that you've been to
Sure.
many times, or so, and knowing that you might have to get there at 4 or 5 o'clock to get a seat. The diner might be appealing if you just want to be with some other people who are also rooting for the team. Like, okay, it's not going to be the same raucous environment, but you also probably don't have to get there until about 7:30 for an 8:30 game, rather than get there at, you know, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and just be sitting there eating and drinking until the game starts. So, and giving up the time. I think the time is the really hard thing for a lot of people. Some people, and today's a Monday, people are working unless they've taken the day off. People are working. So anyway, and then after we're done with the diner, we go across to the grocery store.
Okay.
So I'm just standing on the line waiting. We're doing those automated, registers.
Self-checkout, right?
Yeah. Self-checkout. And I'm on the line with my buddy who's buying a couple of items. And I bought a singular item. I grabbed an item. So something was on really good sale that I usually eat and usually drink. And I was like, I'm getting one of these, you know, I'll bring it back to my mom's, whatever. I don't know. I'll bring back with me to Syracuse. So I grabbed something. So now I come up on the line. My friend hasn't arrived yet. And a guy on the line, okay, I was wearing, I think, my Nick golf shirt, okay, along with my Nick cap. He spots me. He sees I only have one item, and he says, would you like to get in front of me? He had a few items in his basket, you know. He said, would you like to move ahead of me? I was holding on. I said, oh, thank you. Appreciate that. He says, least I can do for my Knicks friend. All right. So I'm like, hey, fan, you're a fan too? So now I'm having this whole convo with this guy on the line, and he's like breaking down guys. He doesn't know I'm a sports guy. He doesn't know me. Like, I'm just a guy buying something at the grocery store. And so, you know, he's not wearing any Nick paraphernalia or anything that I would identify him. But it's just like, this is it. Like, just regular people in regular situations. If they see that you're tied into it somehow, they want to strike up a conversation with you and talk about the Knicks. And this guy was going off. He was like, yeah, you know, I think they should do this. And they got Wemby's number. I'm like, yeah, you know. I'm just yaing him to death and letting him spew, you know. So again, like, it's just this craziness of it's everywhere. It's everywhere you are, you know. And if you dare to wear the logo, be prepared for someone to say something to you and to respond in some way, because people are really like, it's hyper awareness right now in this city that the Knicks are in this thing.
So, Lurch, if the Knicks win tonight and go up 3-0, there's never been a team in NBA history in any level of the playoffs, from the first round to the finals, that has overcome a 3-0 deficit to win a series. A few teams have pushed it to a game 7, but they've never won. So if the Knicks win tonight, are you staying for game 4? Are you staying in town for game 4? For a chance to see a championship?
It'll be very hard to leave. It'll be very hard to leave. So let's see what happens.
Okay.
I haven't made a decision.
Okay.
I may return tomorrow. That's like kind of like, you know, the first possible leave now. I told you, like, I may come back Sunday. I was like, I don't think so, but Sunday's the first possibility. First window closed. I'm still here. All right. Definitely doing the game tonight. I think tonight we'll see. My son is working today, and he won't get home from work till 4-ish. But if I'm up to it, if he's up to it, I think we're going to go into the city. It's just going to be me and him. I'll
Okay.
take my phone obviously with me, and
Okay.
I think we're gonna. I know it's gonna be absolute bedlam in there. It's the worst place you could possibly go. But
Come
I'm
on,
a
don't you have to
YouTuber that makes
experience
results.
it?
I mean, so
Right.
getting in there and mixing it up might be what I need to do.
Sure.
So, and the great thing is my son really knows his way around the city very, very well.
Oh,
He
yeah,
knows
he's
the
been around
trains
the
really,
block.
really well.
Yeah.
So I just get on his tail and just whatever you say, which way we
Smart.
go.
Yeah, right.
He
Trust
knows
him.
exactly where he's going. He knows the city really, really well. So like that's awesome. Like I don't have to I don't
Okay.
have to try to figure things out and pull out my,
Oh,
my map quest or whatever,
say,
my
"Oh, well,
my
where's
app.
good
"Ooh,
parking?" Yeah,
Waze,
right.
where do I go? Shoot."
Yeah, he
So,
knows.
and we'll train in with no,
Oh, okay, there you
public
go.
transportation. We're not driving. No chance that's happening, Boy Green. No, we're training in.
You
He
guys
he
are
lives
pros. I
he
have no
lives 2
idea.
blocks from the subway. So probably what I would do if we do go in is I'll go to him again, park,
Yep.
then we get on the train and we go. So we'll see. And if I do again, just like I did the other night when I was out at the pub, I'll
Yeah.
shoot some videos. I'll try and capture some of the
Please.
moments. If I can shoot some. When I was in the pub, I was hoping at the watch party that I could shoot some videos where I'd be speaking and showing and talking.
Yeah.
It was so loud there, folks. So the reason you just saw me shooting the crowd was it was just you wouldn't. I couldn't even hear myself. I would have had no idea when I was recording whether or not you heard me. I would have been like talking into
Well,
my phone, blah, 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 and it just might have been so noisy that you wouldn't have heard a word I was saying. And then I'm in the pub publishing videos and popping them out to YouTube on my phone,
yeah.
as I'm doing them, boom, putting another video. I don't want to put out a video. Someone can't even hear what I'm saying. And I'm like,
Although, well, I will
giving
tell
some
you this.
breakdown or something,
One of my favorite videos to watch, and I hope you have a chance to do this tonight. We'll get into
Okay.
the game here in a second.
Mhm.
Is if there's like 15 seconds left and a win is imminent, you just turn on your phone, you start recording in the room, and when it goes 3, 2, 1, the Knicks have gone up 3-0, and you just pan the camera around this bar wherever the hell you guys are, and you guys are for the win, like not
Yes.
just in the middle of the game, like the
Yes.
win. And
I did
see
it for the win.
To me. Oh, well, then I missed it. Then I have to go back.
We have
and
a
check
short
it
in there.
out.
It says the sound of victory or something is.
Oh,
the
okay.
way
I got to go
labeled it,
back
yeah.
at man.
Go back in. It's in there. It's
must have
gotten.
not
It's
been
gotten
refreshing or something.
It's gotten a
for you.
lot of views. Yeah. So
Good,
yeah,
I'm
in
not
our shorts,
surprised.
you will see that I literally
Okay.
and I said that's fascinating that you say that because you got 2 things going on, right?
Yeah.
You got I'm here to watch the game and I'm a diehard fan, and I
Yeah.
am so much so that I invested in season tickets for 7 years, right? So I'm a very, very highly vested Knick fan. Okay. And I've been a fan since I was born. All right.
Yep.
The other side of me is I do this YouTube channel and
Sure.
and have been in the media for all these years and appreciate our many viewers and listeners and want to bring them into as many of our experiences as possible and let them enjoy some of the things that we get to go out and do. That's kind of the stewards, dare I say, of this show. And so the game was coming to an end, right? I knew that this was going to come down to a final play, and I'm like, what do I do? Do I shoot the bar, okay, and like pan my camera, all right, or do I celebrate with the people I came with? I'm with 6 people, and hug and kiss them and jump up and down with them. And I was like, well, I guess I'm here to do a job as much as I want to just be jumping up and down and going crazy. I'm feeling it on the inside, but I got to shoot a competent video here. And so I did. I turned away from my group and I shot the bar going crazy. And you'll see at one point I swing around and you'll see a little peep of my son jumping up and down.
I just saw it right now.
After I played it back and saw it, after I edited it and put it in finally, I was like, God damn, I missed. My son was going crazy right behind me. And I'm looking the opposite direction, shooting a room. I'm like, I came here to experience this with him. Like there was a hint of guilt, dare I say, inside me that said, like, I was here to be with my son and experience this with him. And meanwhile, I'm shooting videos for the YouTube channel. Like I felt bad about it. I was like, damn, maybe I shouldn't have done that. What do I do?
So
God damn.
I just watched a
you
video.
could like hold it one way and celebrate the other, but then I want to get competent video. So
yes,
you do what you do.
Here's just what I would say because I've just seen it. It's on a loop, so I've seen it several times. It's making me smile.
Question to everyone out there: did I do the right thing or the wrong thing? I want to know from you people who are on our channel right now. There's a couple hundred people in the room right now.
Yeah.
All right, go in the comments for those of you that can.
Yeah.
Did I do the right thing or the wrong thing? Should I have jumped up and down with my son and screwed the video, or did I do the right thing by shooting the video and posting it for all you folks to see? Go ahead.
I think it's a third thing. I think part of it was wrong. Like again, this video is super cool, and I love that you pan behind you because there's 2. It appears random people just hugging, embracing, which was a cool shot. But I would have embraced like when I do, and I'm not saying I'm the perfect person. I've just done this a few times on reaction videos. I think the thing I like is getting these random people high-fiving and stuff, but then turning the camera back to me, and if I'm with someone, I'm losing it. Like Lou
Okay.
B, he
Gotcha.
had an Instagram video. They were at MSG for game 2, and I'll show it here on I'll see if I can find it quickly on his Instagram.
Okay.
But yeah, let me see if I could get it real quick, because this is the one. These are just the videos I could watch 1,000 times, and if I feel that way, I'm sure people in the audience feel that way too. Yeah, here's Lou B. All right, I'll go full screen here. Okay, here is Lou B's. Oh, it's still his top video. So okay, here we go. All right, so just enjoy whatever this is, folks. This is crazy people, Jake and him. Like,
so I see what he did. What he did is he flipped his camera around. And by the way, I don't think I ended up bringing it into the bar, but I did. I did have my selfie stick with me. I have a really cool selfie stick.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't fit my phone very well, which is an annoying thing. I got to figure that out. It's the way my stupid phone case is. But I did bring my selfie stick. That would have been maybe a smart thing where I could have put it on the selfie stick, have it pointing towards me while I'm going crazy with the other hand and the rest of my body.
Yeah.
Could do that. That's what Lou did. Lou flipped the camera around.
Yeah.
All right. And so, sure, you're looking at the screen so you can see that you're getting some video. And okay, it's a little erratic, but that's what a celebration is like anyway. So it kind of feels like a celebration. I elected for the more aesthetic, let me pan the room. Let me find some interesting people, oh, look at that wacko over there, so.
But I just would have included your son in that. So if your son's celebrating, great, he's in the shot too, and he's like losing it, and maybe turn it to yourself and you're losing it, whoever your people were. That's the only, I like the shot. I love what came for the shot. Just I think including all of you in it was the missing piece to me.
Okay.
I don't think there are some purists out there that say, hey, throw the phone in the ocean, buddy. Enjoy that moment with your son. And whenever you want to remember it, tune back into your head. To me, I like having the video. I was just going through my phone because I got a new phone recently, and it's got a lot. It doesn't have a lot of storage. I have a 3-minute video of me and my dad at the Bret Michaels concert. What am I ever going to do with that? I don't know, but I have it for us. And anytime I want to think about that moment, I can just go back to my phone because the video's on there.
This is human nature too. I think we are a lot of times. I'm sorry to say it. Like me or not like me more for it, hate me more for it. It's up to you. I'm not a me guy. I don't like to showcase myself in things where I think other people can shine better. I think it goes back to me and my management days. There are some managers out there, and I still see them today, people that I know that manage in areas things that I interact with on a regular basis, and they put themselves in front of the camera all the time, in front of the microphone all the time, and they make it about themselves. And I'm the exact opposite. I want to make it about everyone else. I love to see everyone else being able to experience things. So my thought was not at all during that moment about myself or getting myself in the shot. I had never even thought about putting myself in the shot. I'm trying to shoot this environment that I'm standing in and get you to experience what I'm experiencing. So that's why I shot it the way I shot it. So maybe there's a happy medium. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think that's probably the nature of why I did it. Plus, I just wanted the video to be good. Bad Show's jumping in. He's saying, jump in with your son, but my dad would have done the same thing, Lurch, okay, with a laughing emoji. So thank you for that, Bad Show. And thanks for being on the comments here. Brother Yeti says, you could low-key celebrate and maintain composure. What is he saying about it? I'm not getting that one, Brother Yeti. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think he's saying, like, if you were trying to do the professionalism thing, that you just kind of do like a Tiger Woods fist bump or something. Like, that's all. That, like, if you turn the camera to yourself, you're not... But to me, I don't know. If I'm a Knicks fan, we just freaking won game 2 in San Antonio. I am losing my barnacles. There's nothing low key or maintaining composure in my celebration if I was in that seat, but everyone's different.
Yeah. And it was so entertaining, as I said, as I swung the camera around and I saw my son jumping up and down in the shot. I was like, oh, look at him. He's having such a great time. Like, that's awesome. I don't know. Part of it was that's so cool and so awesome to see that my son was really enjoying that moment. Right. And then the other part was, damn, here I was looking the other way, shooting video with my camera. So I feel bad about that. I never talked to him about it. Maybe at some point I will. Be like, did I do the wrong thing there, son, by you? Or did you even care? But I don't know. As a dad, I'm of course always looking out for him. He's my only kid. So, and I went down there specifically to try to experience some of the stuff with him because he's a diehard Knicks fan too. So it is what it is, as they say. But so that was the way it was done. And I did shoot that moment, BG. So you want to get that moment. I was very, very honed into that. Like, I've been here all night. I got to get the moment winner. And if it was lost, I would have.
Right. Sure. Of course. Devastation. Right.
Look at the every.
Is there a pin drop? Right. Is it that? or
Right? Would have
nothing.
been no,
It's
no,
just
no.
silence.
Everybody screaming,
Right.
or would have just been dead silence like that Charles Smith moment that
Yeah,
I've described all
Wembanyama,
those years
right,
ago,
yeah.
you know, as Wembanyama sinks there. Because that was, he got off a pretty good shot. I thought Mitchell Robinson played very good defense on that play, did everything he could. But this is a 7'5" guy who's going to get his shot off.
Of course.
You're not
Right.
blocking it. He's
No.
going to get it up there. And it was a fairly, routine-ish shot for Wemby with pressure on him, with a good defender, putting pressure on him. And he didn't miss by much. He just back rimmed it. So, I mean, that, he just puts a little less oomph on that shot and it's in, and the Knicks lose. And we're talking about, a series that's very, very much in play. But, shifting gears here to the Knicks and the Knicks series.
Yes.
And I don't say this at all as the cocky Knick fan. And I want to, before I say any of what I'm about to say, I'm going to say the following. Anything can happen in sports.
Okay.
And I honestly, while I would obviously be extremely surprised, because you're going to hear what I'm about to say in a moment, nothing, I've experienced every little thing in sports over the years. Anything can happen. So, but what I'm about to say is the Knicks are not going to lose this series. And I know that it's only 2 games and the series is very much still at play. I mean, if you think about it, I was listening to some guys on the radio here in New York yesterday. I knew this conversation was going to come up because that's what we do in talk radio. We talk about, well, on this side of the coin, now let's look at the other side of the coin. And so this was a host and one of his callers discussing how brutal would it be if the Knicks now lose this series to the Spurs
God.
after winning the first 2
Jesus.
games on the road. Welcome to New York, right? Well, we got to look at this other hideous side of this thing. We got this team playing as great as they've been playing. They've won 2 on the road. They're coming back to New York City. The place is going to be a zoo. The president is coming, the whole, right? And we're going to talk about what if they lose now.
Jesus.
And the host's point was that if the Knicks lose, this series now, even though they've only won 2 games, not 3, and the reason is I'm going to make a comparison here, it would be worse. This is this host's words, not mine.
Yeah,
It would be worse than when the Yankees choked away the 3-0 lead
2004.
Okay, so he's going back to that 2004
gosh.
and saying the Knicks blowing this would be worse than the Yankees blowing that. All right, and he said, and I'm saying that with only 2 wins, not when they get to 3, but at 2-0. All right, and then he defended it, and it was a fair defense. His defense was because of the 53 years, because the Yankees have won 1 million championships. Like this, the place, everybody here this is just this tremendous anticipation. And now that they've gotten to this point, you just can't imagine the other side of the coin. It is kind of scary to imagine if this goes.
It is, I'm sure. Right.
And the funny thing about a basketball series is all it really takes is 1 game to kind of flip it. If the Spurs go out and do what most of us think they can't do, all right, with this additional thing of the crowd in absolute bananas mode, and the team playing extremely well and coming back home with confidence, but if the Spurs find a way to win tonight at Madison Square Garden with all of that energy in the building and with the team playing as well as they played and having not lost in 13 straight games, think about what kind of seed that plants for the Knicks, Still, they're in command. They still have the home court at this point, if they lose tonight. They still have the home court in this series. They can win by just winning the remaining games on their home floor, win the series, win game 4, win game 6. Don't even have to win another game on the road. But it plants the seed that it's possible. And then game 4, what if they were to win game 4? What if the Spurs would win back-to-backers in the Garden and do exactly to the Knicks what the Knicks just did to them in San Antonio? Now it's all on. Now San Antonio has the momentum. They have 2 of the last 3 games in their own building. I've always told you how pivotal game 5 is in these series when they go long. Like it's a very fine line in terms of how the series can flip, even at 2-0 with the Knicks having won both games on the road. You must take care of business at home. So, the Knicks have to win one of these 2 at home, or they'll be in big trouble in this series. But my point of it all is this, The Knicks are not going to lose this series, and here's why. I'll offer one caveat. barring a catastrophic injury. They lose Brunson for the rest of the series. They lose Towns for the rest of the series. I don't even know if it was Bridges or Anunoby or somebody that would mean it's over. I think they could still win the series without those guys. But if one of the two big guns, especially the way Towns is playing and what he's been able to do, then I'm going to say I really don't think they can lose this series. And here's why. Okay. And this is not the crazy, cocky Knick fan that so many New York crazy Knick fans are, that we can't lose now that we've done this. That's not my thinking at all. My thinking is purely scientific, mathematical, and what my eyes tell me. I am a big believer. Paul, you know this from me about this,
of course,
about this of me for years. I am definitely less statistical driven and more touchy-feely.
Yes,
I let my eyes and what I see and how I feel about what I see oftentimes be the driving force in my opinions.
Yes.
Okay. And let me tell you what I've seen in this series. I've seen two teams, and I've seen one team be significantly better than the other without even playing what I know to be their best game. That's the Knicks. Okay. I've seen a player who I thought was going to be a massive problem for the Knicks and that they'd really have no answers for become just another guy on the floor. And that they actually have a player on their team, the Knicks, in Karl Anthony Towns, who can play the guy straight up and really almost doesn't even need any help on him. So now you don't even have to waste leaving other guys open for these corner threes and these wing threes, because you don't have to leave because Towns can take care of business. Clearly, through 2 games, he's shown that against Wembanyama. Why is that changing in game 3? Is Wembanyama coming up with a whole new repertoire? What, he didn't have enough repertoire at home when they were desperate in game 2 to be able to outduel Towns? The fact of the matter is, Wembanyama's throwing everything at Towns that he can. And Towns is holding his own, and if anything, winning the battle. Why is that going to change? That's going to change now coming back to Madison Square Garden with the crowd going bananas and everybody in love with Karl Anthony Towns right now? He's suddenly going to lose his confidence and say, I can't guard this guy anymore? That's not happening. The Knicks are a deeper team. And I think we knew this coming into the series, but that has totally been exposed in the first 2 games of the series. Okay? The Knicks are the more experienced team. We don't have to do anything but look on paper at the amount of playoff games that the Knicks players have played and the amount of playoff games that the Spurs players have played. And it's not even close. It's not even close. The Knicks, on their side, have the best clutch player in all of basketball in Jalen Brunson, who hasn't even played well, but still, we trust him in the clutch. And he's done it time and time again. Even in that second game, we didn't play well. He still made a huge shot for them, even though he missed the second one that could have cost them the game. Yeah. But it didn't.
Right.
Okay. He made the one before that got them the lead. Okay. And then he made the free throw that got them the lead. All right. So they haven't even played their best. All right. And here's the last one. I didn't get a chance because stupid website that I was on that was giving me the stats. I forget what the stupid StatMuse, right? I was on StatMuse.
Yes.
Stat, all right. But I was trying to pull a stat, folks. This was part of me having a discussion with somebody over the week about why the Knicks can't lose the series now. And it was this. The amount of players, I don't have the numbers, and I wish I did. Maybe by our show on Wednesday, I'll have them for you. I'll get you the exact numbers. I'll go look them up on Basketball Reference. I just didn't have enough time this morning, and I thought I could get them quick, and then I got buoyed. All right?
Okay.
How many players on the Knicks have scored, in many cases, many, many more times than one time, but have scored 30 or more points in a game, or might even be able to bump that number up to 40 or more points in a game, okay? On the Knicks' current roster right now. And then the same exercise on the Spurs roster, okay? And I'm 100% sure, I don't know what the actual numbers will be, but I'm 100% sure that the numbers are going to be incredibly skewed in the Knicks' favor. Do you know that the Knicks have guys like Jordan Clarkson, who's barely getting any minutes right now? He might get in there. We might see him tonight. But Clarkson, who's barely getting minutes, he has scored over 40 points in a game. Okay. Mikal Bridges has done it multiple times. OG Anunoby. Karl Anthony Towns has scored 60 in a game twice, I think. Brunson has scored 60 or over in a game. Just go through their roster, like guys at Hart. Okay. I mean, if I went through the roster, I'm telling you, I wish I had enough time to get all the research so I could just give you the actual raw numbers. But what I'm saying about this is, I understand in some cases that's a one-off. Shamet is another guy. The fact of
so what does that stat mean to you? So
what that stat means to me is the Knicks have a million options. Tonight, Wednesday night, if there's a game 5, they have a million options outside of Towns and Brunson, who have done it a whole bunch of times, okay, of guys that can score over 30 in a game or maybe even over 40 in a game, Hmm. Who do the Spurs have that can do that? They have one guy.
Wembanyama for sure.
One guy. I don't think there's anyone else. We'll see. I want to look up the numbers and be sure. But I think they have one guy. If we went to the 40-point threshold, probably one guy. All right. If it's two, okay, I'll give him two. If there's two, maybe there's somebody else in that roster I'm not thinking of. All right. But the fact of the matter is, just think about that for a minute, that the Knicks have all these different guys that are so capable offensively. All right. On a given night of just doing something incredible. Even Josh Hart, who's not a great shooter, has had 40-point nights. He's had a couple of them. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have that many answers and the other team doesn't, it just shows the disparity in the two teams. We were hoodwinked. We were blurred by the West battling with the West and looking at how great it appeared that the West was. And now the one team from the West has arrived, at the pearly gates for the championship, for the final thing. And we're seeing, it's really not all that great. And actually, this team here in the East has built something much better, much more sustainable, and much more well-rounded. And they have a ton more options. And by the way, they even play better defense than the other team, which has been proven in the first two games. The Spurs have played reasonable defense. The Knicks have played really good defense in the first two games. And that's not going to stop. That's not going to change at home. The defense is going to get better at home, okay?
I would assume so.
They get energized by that crowd. So for those are the reasons. Of course, it's sports. It could happen.
Real quick.
I could be dead wrong. But I'm not doing this to give you a hot take. I'm doing this to tell you that I don't see a way. I don't see a path for the Spurs unless there's a catastrophic injury. I don't see a path.
So I'm just doing a little bit of research right now. So the real number you want probably is 40+ players on the Spurs that have scored 40+, right?
That'd be great. Let's do that. I mean, it's a higher number and it's more impressive.
Okay. All right. So I'm just cross-referencing some of the players because some of them are super young, so it's super easy. They have a very limited sample size, so I can.
And that's part of what the Spurs are, by the way.
Yeah,
they're extremely
for
inexperienced.
Instance, Stefan Castle has scored 30 several times. Like, it's not very often, but he's done it multiple times. But as I'm looking, a couple, 3, 4 in his career, maybe. But as I'm looking for 40s, he did score 40 once, so shout out to him. He did that on the 7th of February.
Is there. Okay, that's good.
Okay, so he's a capable
Wemby's
guy.
Wemby had to have had a 40.
Oh, he has definitely had. I don't even have to check it. I know he's definitely had multiple games like that. Okay. Another one that I'm thinking about, I'm looking through his stats out, like De'Aaron Fox. That must have happened for De'Aaron Fox.
He's had one. So that's 3.
Cool. So I won't even look at him. So, we're at 3.
I was thinking Wemby and Fox, but now you throw in Castle. I didn't know Castle already had a 40-point game, so good for him. Good for him.
Okay. There's one last player I sort of want to look around. I'm pretty sure he hasn't, but Dylan Harper, the rookie, I don't think he has. But now that's got me thinking of double checking. Could he have had a hot night somewhere in here? It doesn't look like it. I don't think so. 27. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I don't see it. Okay, so that's another. Yes, so it looks like 3.
And by the way, this is just as a actually no. Okay, it does, right? That's who he played. Okay, so it's not just as a Knick. Okay, on the Knicks side of things, all right. I only have a piece of the list. Unfortunately, I told you, this stupid site is not giving me the entire list. All right, but I got 25 entries here on the list of points scored by current players on the Knicks roster. Just listen to some of the numbers. Towns has scored 62 points. Brunson has scored 61 in a game. Towns has also scored 60 in a game. Towns has also scored 56 in a game. Brunson has scored 55, 50, 48, 47, 47. Towns another 47. Towns another 46. Brunson another 45. Brunson another 45. Bridges has scored 45. Brunson another 45. Bridges has scored 45 a second time. Clarkson has scored 45. Towns has scored 44. Brunson has scored 44. Towns another 44. Towns another 44. Brunson another 44. Bridges another 44. Brunson another 44. Hart another 44. That's all the list gives me. It stops at 25. But I think we're going to find Anunoby on that list. I think we're probably going to find Shamet on that list. I know he's gotten darn close if he hasn't gotten 40, but I have a feeling he has. But they're just... And the numbers are huge. It's multiple. Like, that's the experience of the Knicks versus what the Spurs are having to offer here, which is a really promising young team with an incredibly dynamic 7'4" guy that, if he stays healthy and continues to develop his game and get some more complementary players around him, could build a dynasty in San Antonio and be something amazing that we'll be talking about for decades, if not centuries. Now, none of that has happened yet. Wembanyama isn't there yet, but he's one of the best players in basketball. He's extremely tough to deal with. But when you look at the two rosters and you look at all of the pieces, it's very, very clear to me which team is the better team. And that's not a Knicks-centric thought. That is, to me, those are the facts, Jack. I think I could take that to court, and I think I could win my case if I were a lawyer.
Okay. I have two future questions I want to ask. If Jalen Brunson wins a championship, is he the greatest New York Knick of all time?
Yeah, that's been brought up a lot in the New York media. I've been hearing a lot of discussions about that.
I think to me, and I'm not a Knicks historian or anything, but I think if he doesn't win the championship, it's not part of the conversation. That's a prerequisite to me. Maybe he plays a billion more years and then that changes. But right now in this moment in time, I think to have that crown, he must literally have the crown of the championship.
Yeah, he has to win the championship to be considered even in that conversation. But I would have to say, assuming it happens this year, we're talking about this year and he gets his championship this year. All right. I would say no, he's not the greatest Knick of all time. I think Frazier and Willis Reed and others would probably have, Ewing could be in that conversation, but I think Brunson passes Ewing by getting the championship if, and this is the if. Here's what Brunson still needs to complete that puzzle and maybe be ultimately be considered the greatest Knick. I think he probably needs a second one because Frazier has two, and Frazier's, go look at Frazier's numbers in the playoffs, in championships, in the finals. His numbers were incredible. All right. Even by old day standards, dare I say. All right. Which are more modest numbers, by the way, than today's numbers for sure. Yeah. Okay. Also, Brunson just hasn't been a Knick long enough. Let's get him some longevity in the uniform, performing at a high level, including these epic playoff performances, which he continues to have, before we can even get him on the same plateau as Frazier and Reed and some of the greats. And if he gets the second one, okay, and that gets the longevity for the Knicks, then I would be willing to put him at number one without a doubt. But what's amazing what I always give him extra points for, just as a fan of basketball, as a fan of sports, as a Knick fan, is, and guys get criticized for being what they are, in his case, short for basketball. All right. But then guys also need to get credit for what they are. When you do what he's doing at his size, it's even more impressive than someone who is 6'5" or 6'6". Okay. So you have to, if you're going to criticize him one way, he's not great defensively because he's a small guy and, he can't hurt, then you have to give him more credit when he succeeds, despite your thoughts that he can't succeed because he's too small. Then he deserves more credit than the guy who's 6'5" or 6'6". So certainly Frazier was more of a prototypical guard in those days and is a bigger guy than Brunson. So Brunson needs to get more credit. So I think if Brunson stays with it, there's no reason to think he's ever leaving the Knicks. They're going to try and keep him there as a lifer. But, if he continues his current course of progress, and if he wins a second one after theoretically winning his first one this year, then he will be the greatest Knick of all time. Wow. And even a lot of the numbers will probably start to bear that,
Sure.
Ewing has all the numbers for longevity and stuff for the Knicks because he played there the longest and was the most perhaps longevity consistent Knick. But Frazier has that plus the 2 championships. And now Brunson will have a piece of that plus the 1 championship. He's not there yet. Okay. But when he gets to 2, I don't even think it'll be an argument anymore. I will be voting for Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
If they get
and
2.
Then I have one more future question.
Okay.
If the if the Knicks win this championship, what does that mean for everyone involved? Mike Brown, this team, you as a fan after all this nonsense.
That's a lot of people to consider.
Yeah, I know. But what does it mean? Is it a fleeting moment and we're all like, Knicks championship, and then it disappears with time like anything, and then we just move on? Is this something we're going to keep like pointing back at? Was this a blip on the radar? Was this the start of a dynastic run? Like, what does it mean?
Wow. Geez. I mean, you're asking a big question and they don't even have it yet. And
but
they don't even.
You've already said they're going to have it.
Well, I believe they're going to win the series. Yes, I do. But what does it mean? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. What does it mean? What does it all mean? You've been craving this your entire life.
Well, the
one Aaron Rodgers thing, Lurch, and I brought this up on Netflix, is he was chasing the Super Bowl forever. He won it, and then he had like an ego death. He's like, now what? I've done the thing. I was running on the treadmill. The piece of meat that was in front of me on the treadmill forever, I ran. I got it. Now what? And he struggled with his life after that. And so far, he has not won a second one. Yeah. So like that that messed around with them forever after winning the championship. He said, now what? So like, what does it mean for you as a fan for something you're chasing and going to experience and witness and
I
everything?
have a few thoughts on this for you. I
Okay.
mean, this is a preemptive question, but I'll
Sure.
preemptively try to answer it.
All right.
The
Great.
first thing it means is the removal of years of pain. I mean, this fan base, myself included, has been in pain for a long time. In all honesty, I know the last time they appeared in the championship was 99.
Right. Spurs. Yep.
But I had not even a thought that they were going to win that title. Ewing got hurt. They came limping into it. They were, I think, an 8 seed that year, okay, who surprised in the playoffs to get to the finals. And they were facing a titanic Spurs team, right? And they got taken apart in 5 games.
Was the Admiral still on that team?
Yes. That was,
Okay.
so you got David Robinson, against no center for the Knicks. I forget
Right,
who
and
even played
Duncan must
center.
have just arrived too.
And I think Duncan was on the team too. So
God.
you don't understand what the Knicks were facing. They weren't winning. There was no chance. Okay. 0 chance. Okay. Kind of reminds me of the Mets a number of years ago. The Mets got in. Remember the Mets played the Yankees in the Subway
2015.
Series? Like they're not winning. The Mets aren't winning the series.
Oh, the Subway one.
The Subway.
Oh, Yankees. Oh, early 2000s.
Yeah,
right. That was
early
shortly
2000s.
after that.
The
next
Mets are
one.
going to get
Right,
creamed.
right.
They didn't have a team. They didn't have the
Yeah.
team to beat the Yankees.
Yeah.
They weren't going to win.
Yeah.
So even worse for the Knicks in 99. So I don't even look at the 99 thing and say like, oh, it's been since 99. I go back to 94. In 94, okay, which was the OJ chase in the middle of, one of the games. And that was crazy.
The
Right,
Rockets, the two Rockets.
The
years,
Rockets,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for the Knicks, and maybe this is like, you talk about Knicks history and karma.
Okay.
All right. This is kind of cool. All right. Let's say they win in 94 against the Rockets.
Yes.
Okay.
Dream.
Again, let's go back to history, folks. Let's a lot of people weren't around back then or weren't paying attention back then. Okay. In 1994, when the Knicks went to the championship with Patrick Ewing and that whole crew, John Starks and Anthony Mason, and I think Oakley was still on the team at that point. Maybe he wasn't. I think Oakley was. But anyway, that roster of guys, the Patrick Ewing crew, that core, all right, and they lose to the Rockets in 7 games. That team would have done it with no Michael Jordan in the league. Okay, so the Knicks were chasing Jordan and the Bulls forever. Okay, that was the hump. They got to Charles Smith. Okay, that was it.
Yep.
Dunk, Bulls out. Knicks with a chance to win a title that year. It doesn't happen. All right. The Xavier McDaniel experiment before that. The Knicks were trying to get that last piece that was so
Charles
close.
Oakley was on that team, by the way.
He was on that
Confirmed.
team, yeah.
Sure,
I thought so.
he was.
Okay. So anyway, so if the Knicks win in 94,
Asterisk?
it's an asterisk title because they're chasing Jordan. Jordan leaves for baseball and they win the 1 year he's in baseball. Like, we'll take it. We'll say we won a championship in 94.
Sure.
We're not going to take the banner down. All right. But the fact of the matter is, it would have kind of sucked in some ways. Like, you just asked me, what's the meaning of this championship? And I'm going to say it has significant meaning, and I'll give you some more on it if you want. 94, it would have had meaning for sure, but it just wouldn't have had the same meaning as, say, winning one this year because of the Jordan factor. The specter of Jordan. I mean, they were chasing him forever. They were facing him year after year, and they couldn't get past him. Now he leaves and they win one. Come on, I mean, that's kind of lame. There's a lameness to that. You're not going to hand it back. You're not giving the trophy back, but it's kind of lame.
Yeah, okay. I was cracking jokes about it.
That's fair.
That is fair. I was cracking jokes about it on Friday during our Sean Devaney interview. Again, I've admitted to everyone that I'm rooting for the Knicks and I want them to win and all that. But I just played a little devil's advocate and pretended and over-exaggerated the quote-unquote asterisk that be on the Knicks. They avoided the number 1 seed. They avoided the number 2 seed. They've had all these favorable things happen. The West side, everyone said the Thunder were the Titan, not the Spurs, and you avoided them too. Like, how is there not? Okay, I get it. It's more obvious with Jordan because he's Michael Jordan, but wouldn't there be an asterisk for avoiding all those things in this one? And you're just happy to be playing the Spurs at the right time? That if you play the Spurs team in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, when they veteran up, that like, oh, geez, like this team's going to be different. Why not the asterisk stock for this year if you felt that way about 94?
So why would there be an asterisk this year? What was your?
So the whole point is you avoided the number 1 seed. That was the Pistons.
Come on,
no.
No.
You avoided the number 2 seed. You've had all these favorable.
We didn't avoid
things
anyone.
All
they
these
lost.
teams.
They lost.
But you did. It's like in the Syracuse where we would have played Michigan State in that 2-15 matchup, but then it didn't. Michigan State got upset, so you played a different team. Like, why is there not the Thunder not getting there in the NBA Finals? They're this Titan. You had favorable things happen. Others are saying the Lakers in the bubble. People consider that an asterisk championship. So why is there no asterisk for these things that were avoided that may not even be their fault, but it doesn't matter. That's how Michael Jordan thing wasn't your fault, but you said you would put an asterisk on it if they had won it. Why isn't there an asterisk for this if I'm playing devil's advocate?
Yeah, it's a fair argument, but I think there's a big difference. I mean, I think Jordan and the fact that they were chasing him and couldn't beat him, and now he bows out to go somewhere else for a while is kind of a weird, quirky
No,
thing.
I agree. That one is
really
more obvious and very different.
All I'm saying is the title would have meant a lot more to the Knicks if they would have done it by going through Jordan.
With Jordan, I agree 100%.
And they didn't, but they didn't win it anyway. But I just think it wouldn't have had as much significance, as the titles in 70 and 73 have. And
so why does this one have not more in comparison to 94, just more in general? Why?
Because, number one, I mean, I've said this to you forever. I mean, the regular season is the regular season. It just doesn't mean that much. All that matters is the playoffs, especially in the NBA. And I think the Pistons were a fraud. Sean Devaney, our NBA insider, was saying it all year that they were a fraud, and they proved to be a fraud. They were. They're not ready. They only had one guy that could really carry them, and then he got a little banged up, and that was the end of it. And they just didn't have the other role players. I mean, what happened to Jalen Duren? I mean, we don't know if he's a good player or not yet. I mean, he's a good young potential player. He had a really good season the year before, but this year, in the playoffs, he completely wilted and wasn't a good player. So we don't know enough about the Pistons to say they're any good. So they're a fake, number one.
Okay. What about Celtics?
The Celtics, I mean, again, you get what you earn, right? I mean, I was under the ruse, dare I say, that with, Tatum back and what Brown had done without Tatum, that, wow, this could really be the year that we gave the Celtics no chance. And then they turned back into the Celtics at the exact moment when you need them to, because I've always told you, the regular season don't mean diddly. It's about what you do in the playoffs. And now they had their full roster. But clearly, perhaps Tatum, I still don't think he was 100% healthy. I mean, he was healthy enough to play.
It seems hard to believe that he would be, right?
That injury, that operation, there's a long, long list of history there. And ultimately, the Celtics losing a lot of their role players because of the apron world, the stupid financial world that sucks. That makes the NBA suck for every team, including the Celtics, who I hate, by the way. But so what? It sucks. I want to let the Celtics have what they have then. Let's beat them for who they are,
Square it up,
Square it up, not have to have them, release this guy, let this guy go find somebody. I mean, they found some interesting guys on the, out there in the world that nobody even thought were anything and turned them into really good basketball players this season for a great regular season. But the fact of the matter is, when the playoffs came, those guys, the pumpkin, whatever,
Missoula won Coach of the Year for Pete's sake. I mean,
which I thought was ridiculous, to be honest with you. I didn't like that at all. But another video, and we can get into that deep and dark. I do not think he deserved to be Coach of the Year at all. But there were way better candidates this year, but whatever. But no, I just think the Celtics were unmasked. I don't think the Celtics were the Celtics. And so all year long, people thought this was the Knicks' year, that the roster that they had put together was the right roster, and they ended up being the 3 seed. They did knock off the 4 seed in the playoffs in 4 straight. They didn't have to face the 1 and the 2. I get it, but I still think they would have rolled past them the way. So
you hear my asterisk talk, but you don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
You heard me say it, but you're not going to do it.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Which is fine.
At all.
And that's the other thing.
And you heard me say a week or so before the series was decided in the West. I said, I think I want OKC, man. I don't think I want Wemby. I don't think I want to deal with this weird thing and having to change. The Knicks, I felt going into the finals, if the Knicks got OKC, they could just play Knicks basketball and not have to change things.
Oh, I see, because of Wembanyama's unique
Because of
size.
what Wembanyama does to the center of the court. You see it, Josh Hart, who's a great finisher, is not finishing anything. He just goes in there, tries to get Wemby to chase him, and then kicks it out to somebody. He's scared, of
I don't blame
Wemby.
him.
And I don't blame him. He's doing
Sports
the right
top
thing.
10.
He's just going to get blocked.
Yeah.
So the Knicks have had to change who they are a little bit offensively because of the presence of Wembanyama. If they were playing OKC, they wouldn't. They would be exactly what they were during the regular season in this early part of the playoffs, and could play regular Knicks basketball. You'd see Towns on the post a little bit more. We'd see things that we're not seeing in this series because the Knicks have a different jigsaw puzzle to do here with the Spurs than so I thought that would be a thing. But in all due respect, Towns, who's been a much beleaguered, much maligned player, much criticized player, has proven that he actually can play defense against Wembanyama, and he's been a great kryptonite. You know, we used that term in one of our videos last week for one of our graphics. He's been a kryptonite to Wemby's offensive game, I think, in a lot of ways. And while Wemby, he might have a good game in one of these upcoming games, he might have a crazy game. He scores 35, 40 points. I still don't think he's going to do that every game in the series because Towns has proven he can handle him to a certain extent. You know, he can at least limit him. Okay, not going to stop him, but he can limit him. All right, and they haven't even thrown anything else at him yet. They haven't even thrown the kitchen sink at Wembanyama yet. So they still have that in their bucket to consider. But I don't think they're going to have to. So no, this would be a glorious championship, Paul. Sorry, you're not taking any luster off the rose. You're not getting away with anything here with me today. They're going to win this championship.
Okay.
This will be a glorious moment for New York City and for New York sports. They're going to end this 53-year drought. If they win tonight, it's never happened in the history. I was trying to get the number. I know I saw it on a TV show and we were talking about it before the video, but I'm pretty sure that no team has ever come back from losing 2-0 in their own building, in the NBA playoffs and winning a 7-game series. That might just be a final stat, or it might be a full playoff stat. I'll try to get that number, by the time we reconvene on Wednesday. But the numbers are piling up. The odds makers are piling up numbers against the Spurs coming back and winning this series. Now they go out and play a dynamite game tonight.
So what are you expecting here tonight in Game 3? Because again, I know we're talking about combinations of things. You just mentioned all those stats. No team in NBA history has ever, in any round, first round, second round, conference finals, NBA finals, have come back from 3-0. So tonight is a kill shot because unless to that radio call thing in New York City, to me, it's much worse than the Red Sox thing. If the Knicks went up 3-0 and somehow became the first team in NBA history to lose, that would be awful and something you may never overcome. But like, if you win tonight, you've killed them. The only thing the Spurs can do to beat you is beat you 4 straight times in elimination games. That seems incredibly unlikely. Yeah. So, like, what do you expect tonight in this game?
What I expect tonight, number one, I expect to see Jalen Brunson shoot the ball much better than he's shot in this series so far. It is very uncharacteristic for him to be shooting in the 30s. I think it's 34, 36%.
Yeah,
so far
both of the games. Yeah,
so that's not happening at the Garden. That's his home. He's gonna. And what I love about him, see, you would worry about some guys just like the hype in that building and like how it could kind of get in your head. And Brunson is just like this even keeled. He's like a flat line, man. He just never overreacts. He
for good or bad.
We're down 15, it doesn't matter. Yeah. We're up 15, it doesn't matter. He plays at the same level. He plays with the same savvy and the same smarts. He's not going to buckle under the pressure, dare I say, if you want to call it that. Some people are trying to call it that, of coming back to Madison Square Garden with a 2-0 lead. That's not happening. So Brunson will play better tonight. How much better? Might he go off for 45 or 50? It's possible, but I'm not gonna chalk that up because I think Brunson understands they're winning as a team and he's going to continue to distribute and make sure his teammates are getting involved. Number two, what always happens, role players, and this is just across the NBA in general, but it certainly is something that is a stat for the Knicks. Role players always play better in the comfy confines of the home building versus the road. So the lesser players, the B players, the guys that come off the bench, the guys that are the 4th and 5th guys, maybe in the starting rotation, they always play better in the home building. That's a pretty, really, really, sure. I don't have a number for you. It's a true stat, okay? It's a very, very true stat, and it goes across the NBA. The Knicks have already been getting pretty good play out of their role players, but I can see a Deuce McBride having a really good, surprising night tonight if he gets some time. Or if a Clarkson is forced to come off the bench, that he gives him a 10 or a 12-point night in there for 10 minutes and just delivers. Shamet has already been playing well, so he could have a crazy night. I think Josh Hart will play a little bit better at home, too. He's really, really not been shooting. When he shot the ball, he's been horrific. He's been really, I think, being back home, the sight lines at Madison Square Garden, the crowd, The crowd always wants Hart to shoot it because he's open so much because they just lay back off him because he's not typically an accurate shooter. I think he's going to have a better shooting. I think Josh Hart is going to give the Knicks double-digit points tonight. And then I just hope Towns has been an anomaly over the years, but the way this series has played out so far, I see more of the same from Towns. I don't think he'll play better than he played in the first two games.
That's going to be hard to do.
But I'm hoping he plays at least equal or somewhere in the neighborhood of what he plays. But I think this game 3, is going to be some other people, including Brunson shooting better and some other people doing a little more, and Towns not having to be the factor that he's been in the first two games, even though they need him, to lock down Wemby and to still be a piece of this puzzle. I don't know. That's the vision I see. It's maybe there's something crazy about that, but that's what I see.
So
and
let's go
locking down defensively as they have been, and the crowd just energizing that defense. Forget about the offense. They're just going to energize that defense to stop these guys.
All right, and let's do this last piece, at least for me, is Mikal Bridges. You got to go back to your friend and somehow explaining the 5 first-round picks being worth it, because you're explaining it to me, and I'd say in my head, I haven't heard any of the argument, but there's no way that this was some massive great trade for we talked about it earlier, you win the championship. Sure, you can tell me every move that the Knicks did. It was all calculated. It was all great. It was all fantastic. Right. But I want to hear this argument because apparently, I don't know if you were moved completely, but you were moved a little, so that intrigues me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He moved me pretty well. I mean,
okay.
He likes to look at the texts. All right, that he get out of the camera. This is like one of the texts.
Oh dear God! I'm seeing the block. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. So again, reestablish because we're nearing hour 2 of this show.
Yeah.
So reestablish for people that may just be joining us. What are you? What?
So I have a buddy in New York. He's a diehard Knick fan. He walked into me at this pub that I was at the other night for game 2.
Okay.
He was there too, and he came by. He says, "I have a kind of a minority opinion, but I want to talk to you about this. See what you think." He says, I think Mikal Bridges was absolutely worth the 5 number 1 picks that the Knicks gave up for him. And I just rolled my eyes at him. I was like, dude, come on, man. Hasn't that been proven already? He said, no, think about it. Let me offer some testimony. Okay. And then he started to argue with me. Let me tell you what he said here in a couple of his texts here, because this kind of gets to it. All right. Okay. Okay. Just wanted to follow up on my minority opinion. This was his follow-up on the Bridges situation. That Bridges trade was worth it. Bridges has averaged 15 points per game in the playoffs for the Knicks. This guy's very analytical, so he gets into the numbers. Right. Knicks finished in the top 4 last year with Bridges, and this year even better. The Nets got Ben Saraf with the first pick they received from the Knicks in this trade. So far, the first guy that's been acquired by the Nets, Ben Saraf. Do you know who he is, Boy Green?
I don't know who that is.
All right. As you know, draft picks, particularly when you are drafting after 15, are always a crapshoot. Knicks' most recent first-round picks, Dadier, Zhang, Quentin Grimes, Keon Johnson, Kai Jones, Leandro Bolmaro. Obi Toppin was the 9th pick in the draft. Barrett was the 3rd pick in the draft. Knox was the 9th pick in the draft. These are even above the number.
God.
Frank Ntilikina was the 8th pick in the draft. Now, I would push back on him in that and say, yeah, that's the stupid Knicks drafting.
I don't think that's like, hey, draft picks don't work. I don't
love that sign.
That's a Knicks stat.
Yeah. It's more of a Knicks. He used the Knicks against, that was an interesting ploy by Mr. Matt. All right. And he said, let's be honest, that list is brutal, and Brooklyn will be drafting later than the Knicks did for the majority of these guys. So he's trying to make the case that they would even do worse than the Knicks have done, which is fascinating. Bridges is a great teammate. He has the Villanova bloodlines and doesn't need the ball and plays great defense. That I like. He doesn't need the ball, and he does play great.
And he's always available. We remember that, the Iron Man thing. Like, okay, yep.
And he said he also seems to be a good guy, which I think he's right to say that too.
Sure.
So
all right.
Here's when the Knicks started piecing this roster together. One of the things I loved about it, and I didn't know it was going to lead to championship this quickly, to be in all honesty, all cards on the table. But the fact of the matter is, what I loved about the roster was that they were going for these 3-and-D guys. We've heard that term 3-and-D a lot. And OG Anunoby, they made a big trade, gave away the guy that was the 3rd pick in the draft, RJ Barrett.
Oh yeah, RJ Barrett was. They
gave away
trade, right?
Emmanuel Quickly, who was also
I forgot he was
one of the few, one of the few good picks the Knicks have made outside of Mitchell Robinson a number of years ago. The Knicks have actually made in the draft, that turned into something. They traded those 2 guys, and I think there was a pick involved in that too. It was probably a first rounder. All right. In order to bring in OG Anunoby. All right. OG Anunoby, 3-and-D guy. Okay. Doesn't need the ball. Steady as they come. Gives you both threes and D, and he can even do some other things as well. But as we call it, a 3 and D guy. 3 and D guys are some of the most valuable guys in the NBA. These are these wings that can shoot threes and are really good one-on-one defenders. OG Anunoby. And then he did the same thing with Bridges. Bridges is a 3 and D guy. He's another guy that's very, very capable of scoring on any given night, but he also shoots threes and makes them and plays great D. All right. So when they started building this roster of 3 and D guys, this is, I think, really, if you would ask me after this is all said and done, assuming they win the championship, what's the number one reason? I'll tell you, there was the acquisition of the 3 and D guys. All right. And of course, the emergence of Jalen Brunson. Nobody expected Brunson to be what he's become. So that has to probably be at the top of every list. But once you get past that, Jalen Brunson becoming the superstar that nobody thought he could become, including especially those people in Dallas. The worst contract in the world, according to some people, when the Knicks signed him to it. Now, the best contract in the world, according to the same people. Okay. So
second round pick, by the way. You guys did not give him a first round pick in an OB trade.
Yeah, he was a second round pick. Oh, it was a second in that trade.
Yeah, that's all you gave up. Yep, go ahead.
So
Besides the players, obviously.
And so again, like I said, we'll get Matt Foley on to argue for himself.
Okay.
Let him come on. He's a man of many words. We'll have a tough time stopping him from speaking. But he is based in reality for sure, and he does.
Okay.
He does play by the stats, so to speak, and that's the way he'll effort to try to convince us.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it for a minute, if you just, if these picks are all late first-round picks,
right?
If the Knicks do win a championship this year, and God forbid they even win another one while Bridges is still on the roster, wouldn't you say it was well worth it? I think the one championship, I think one is about the Rams. You say you get the one, it's worth it. You said the Rams, it was worth it. One was worth it. So if they win this year, Boy Green, then it's worth it. Isn't the Bridges trade worth it? They won a championship, then won one in 53 years. Would you not give up your right arm to get one in 53 years?
I would.
Yeah, everybody
Absolutely.
would. Right. So Matt is actually, scary as it sounds, starting to make sense and starting to convince me that you might be right. If they win a championship and Bridges is one of the key reasons why they do, why would we be reluctant to say, oh, these picks that are still to come, we don't know who they are yet. Okay.
True.
We know one guy is right now, Ben Surratt. Okay. Okay. I don't think he's going to be a household name anytime soon. So if you really think about it, late first round picks really don't mean all that much in the NBA. So trade them away for star players that can make a difference on your roster. That's the lesson being learned here if the Knicks indeed get a championship out of this. And I think they're going to.
All right. Well, shout out to, I can't wait to hear more from Foley, but it's intriguing. I don't agree, but it's intriguing. I'm willing to hear whatever he has to say. I'm good for smart.
Again, let's come with some ammunition and go back and forth with him, but I know it's not so far fetched anymore. If they win,
it is crazy because we went back after making the Knicks pull that trigger, 5 first-round picks. We saw other trades happen. We're like, what?
It was like
Luka
2 or 3
Doncic,
first-round picks for better players.
Wait, whoa. Yes. We could have given up 5 first-round picks and got it this guy or this guy. Right. That's where we start.
Yeah, the Luka trade, Luka on face value, you have to say is a better player than Bridges. All right. Now he's not a 3 and D guy.
I guess that's true.
But here's the difference. Again, just to be fair, okay? Just to be fair. Luka needs the ball and Luka plays no defense. He can shoot threes, but he needs the ball and he plays no defense. Okay.
Right. So Bridges on the roster
doesn't need the ball,
right?
And he plays good defense, and he can make threes. Now he's not a prolific scorer like Luka is, okay?
Definitely not.
But the Knicks didn't need and didn't acquire Bridges to be the star of their team. They already have a star of their team, and he's the most unselfish guy on the floor, okay? And he's the best clutch player in basketball. You don't need another person butting heads with that which you have. Here's the thing about the Knicks. It applies to this finals. It applies to these 13 wins in a row. What did the Knicks do? What are the Knicks going to do tonight, Paul? Okay. When the score is tied and there's 5 minutes to go in the game, what are they going to do?
I think I know what they're going to do. They're going to give the ball to Jalen Brunson.
They're going to give the ball to Jalen Brunson. That's a good thing. A team that knows what it's going to do when it matters. Okay. Not wondering, should LeBron shoot it? Should this guy shoot it? What should we do over here? They know exactly what they're going to do. They're giving it to Brunson and he's going to do something with it. He's probably going to shoot it. He does most of the time because he's so inventive with his angles. Or he's going to set somebody up for a wide open shot. Okay. And he does that from time to time as well. They know what they're going to do. There is singular focus with the Knicks now. That's a good thing. If you if Bridges was another star like Luka, you'd have that rub. Who should have it? Luka's really good. You don't want that on your team. So the Knicks went out and got the right guys around their star player in Brunson. And that's why they are where they are tonight.
So
that's simple.
Larch, we bring this up all the time, especially back in the old radio days. We brought it up a lot about, the Knicks falters with the draft. Let me bring up this
Disaster.
nugget, okay? Because this isn't a Knicks one, okay?
Mhm.
In 2018, the Dallas Mavericks. Do you know what they did with their first 2 picks in the 2018 NBA draft?
2018 NBA draft, the Dallas
Yeah.
Mavericks.
Yeah. Do you know what they did with their first 2 picks?
I mean, Luca was one of them, right?
He was. Luca was
Yeah.
they traded up. He was a top 3 pick in the
Yeah.
draft.
Was
Do you know what they
Luka?
did with their other pick?
Yeah, they picked. Who was it again? Oh my goodness. I vaguely remember, but I can't
Okay.
grab it. I
Oh,
can't
I'll
grab
help
it.
you. I'll help you.
Yeah.
You may remember the name. Jalen Brunson was the 33rd overall
Yes.
pick.
Okay, right. Yeah.
They took Brunson and Luca in the same
Same
draft,
draft.
and
Yeah.
now neither of them are there.
Yeah, good point. Mm.
Good Lord. Talk
And they're
about
and they're a
having it.
disaster now. They're a
Exactly.
complete disaster
Yes,
now.
it's completely. You have
So
Cooper
they didn't
Flag,
even
and
make
he's
bad
super
picks.
intriguing.
They made great picks and then
And it still
screwed up
didn't
in
matter.
terms of whether they kept them or not. That's a good one, Paul. That's a good one. Good for you looking that up.
2018. Oh,
That's
dear
fantastic.
God.
And only in
Don't just hit
2018.
me.
They have taken a wrecking ball to that team in less than 10 years.
That
And they
goes to
have-
show you.
And they have 2 of the true superstars in the game, 2 top 10 players in the game
Didn't matter.
that could have been on their roster right now playing with each other. All right.
All right. Look at this. The super chat's
Mama.
coming in, Lark.
Hey,
Let's
Philly
get-
Noodles. What's up,
let's
bro?
get- let's get some love. Let's get
All
some
right, give him
love.
some
Here we
love.
go.
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't give a video. We got to do a video here. By the way, I'm in the process, Paul, of revamping some of our videos. I'm going to get us some new stuff. All right.
Okay.
Just want to freshen things up.
Yeah, we should. We
Cool.
should constantly look to do that.
So, all right, let's go with this one here.
Yes, sir, you, sir. Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Okay, so there you go, Lurch. Burning a French baguette Wednesday night, New York Knicks forever, which would in theory be
That
the
would be the
sweep
night.
that he's talking about with the
Theoretically,
sweep
yep.
emoji, the
Mhm.
champagne
Oh,
bottle.
love the sweeping. Love it. Love
Oh.
it. Yeah,
Burning
it's
a
champagne
French
bottles, Boy Green. Don't forget. See, I might have to get home so I could get that champagne.
I thought
on
you
ice
brought it with you
and
to
have
be
it
honest.
ready. I did not bring it with me because I didn't expect to stay down for the whole series. So I think I got to get home for that champagne. I can't that champagne's got to be on ice, baby, before that
I
game.
imagine.
We got to
Yes.
shoot it. Oh my God. Oh,
Because I
that's
thought
a
this was what
disaster.
was going to happen during today's show. I thought
Mhm.
you were going to say at one point you're going to stand up and move that sign slightly to the left or right,
Yeah.
and behind
right
it would
there.
be the champagne and ice. I'm like, "Dang, you brought the bottle." So I thought that's what was going to happen today on the
goodness.
show. So you've
Well,
confirmed to me
sorry.
that's not going to happen. So
Sorry, man.
thank you, Philly Noodles, for the super chat. Appreciate that.
Yeah, gotcha. Oh, let me make sure that. Okay, just trying to check on something here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
I thought that was going to
I
happen.
think it's going to be. I don't think the series goes more than 5 games at this point. Now that it's 2-0,
Okay.
It could be a sweep.
Okay.
If they win tonight, I think it will be a sweep. I think San Antonio's chance is tonight, and if they do not, win tonight, it won't even go. You won't get to 5. Well, obviously that's a dumb comment, but like this is their chance to even make it a series of any sort is to win tonight.
Okay.
And
And what are the
3-0,
chances you
can't
give
win
it of
series.
them making it a series of any kind?
20% chance.
Oh, okay. That's still a fifth. I mean, that's a
20%.
solid slice of pie. Okay. All right.
20% chance.
Okay.
Sports is fickle. It's fickle.
Sure it is.
One game, one performance can flip the script. Something could be figured out. Something could just, something could be exposed. Sports is crazy. The thing I really like, and again, another one of many reasons I've laid them all out. All right. I think they're a better team, yada, yada, yada. All right. They've had the answers. I think the other piece of this for me is what the Knicks are saying. I know words are just words. Okay. They're just words. But what the Knicks are saying, and inevitably, I really think actually that what they're saying is what they're doing, is they just really genuinely, okay. I don't think it's press talk, press conference talk, which we get all the time from coaches. We're going to 110%. We're going to do that. The Knicks in lockstep. It seems like every player you talk to, especially the key players, are saying the same thing. It's 0-0, man. Haven't done anything. When it's not finished, got more to do. Like they're just everything they say. And meanwhile, go listen to the Spurs. We're better than them. We haven't played our best game. We just got to play our game to win. You know, all the stupid things they're saying is, to me, this is why you're losing. All right? Because the Knicks have the right mentality, which is nothing. Tomorrow. Tomorrow's what means everything. And then after that, it's the next game that means everything. And then when it's done, then we'll celebrate. Like, there's been no premature celebration. I think, listen, you do what you do. But the Spurs had that emotional moment after beating OKC, and it is definitely a
Game
reference
7.
point to
Oh,
look
yes.
back at. What they did was amazing. I mean, they deserved a celebration, dare I say, because
I did.
they
Agreed.
knocked off the defending champs. They beat them in their own
100%.
freaking building in Game 7. They won the last 2 games of the series. That is a lot to celebrate. I'm not blaming the Spurs for celebrating. All I'm telling you is the Spurs are at a different place in their evolution than the Knicks. The Spurs were thrilled with beating OKC and winning the West. The Knicks won't be thrilled until they win the whole thing. That's the mentality that champions have. The evolution of the Spurs, this loss in this series, which is likely to happen, will hopefully propel them to have the right mentality the next time they get a chance. The Knicks already have the right mentality. That's the
It
difference.
is surprising that is the Spurs mentality, considering this is a team that won 5 championships with Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and that group. Like, it's not as if it's the UMBC Golden Retrievers.
Yes,
And
I got you.
We're here. Like, it's crazy. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying it's crazy that the Spurs could be at that point of the evolution that they would be satisfied, quote unquote,
Yes.
beating the Thunder, going, yeah, look at this. This is pretty cool. We didn't make the playoffs last year. Knowing their very iconic and impeccable history, that Popovich and everything else, that is sort of nuts. But
Yep, it is. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If I venture into the city tonight, folks, I promise videos galore.
Sweet.
You know, we'll see. It's going to be danger.
Son make the cut this time?
What's that?
I said, will your son make the cut this time?
Oh, yeah. He's without him, I'm not going. He's what?
Will he make the cut of the video?
Oh, all right, I'll make an effort. I'll make an effort. All right.
To get him in. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. I was just joking. I was like,
Yeah, like I don't know what I don't know what we're gonna do. He's working right now. I'm gonna call him in a couple of hours and be like,
you guys will
"So,
figure it out.
are we doing this or
Have a
what?
good
You
time.
know?
Enjoy it.
What time am I meeting you? Where are we
Yeah.
gonna go? I think it's gonna be one of those ham and eggers. You know,
Cool. There's nothing wrong.
I don't think we'll go down near the Garden because that's just gonna be insanity. So I think
Right.
we would maybe strategically, maybe be up somewhere in the Village or something. Be somewhere else where it's still insane, but it's not like
Okay.
where you just. So I don't know. He knows the town way better than me.
Trust him.
I will follow his lead. He will hopefully come up with something, but one way or the other,
Okay. Cool.
it's going to be
Well,
fun.
enjoy it, Lurch. Enjoy it,
All
pal.
right. I will. All right, folks, thanks so much for tuning in today. We do appreciate it. Thanks for all the comments. Super chats again. Thanks to T-Town Jet. Look at him way at the top of that board of our raffle, our monthly raffle. Again, get in on that. We're going to do the drawing on the 22nd. All right, so we still got a little bit more time. All right, another
2
12
weeks.
days. So
14 days.
All right.
Yeah,
14
2 weeks
days.
from
2
today.
weeks.
It's a
Exactly
Monday.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. So 2 weeks to our raffle. Good prizes. Really cool. You see them on the scrolling ticker below us right there. The metal poster, Angelo Dundee. You see it all right there. So stay in tune with that. T-Town Jet. Thanks, Philly Noodles, for jumping in with the super chat there. Appreciate that. Appreciate you just all getting in the comments and saying things here. Just to pop into them quick. We didn't really get to
Sure.
any comments.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
started a bunch of them, so let me just jump in.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
T-Town first with a morning, y'all. Thanks for that. I caught
Appreciate it.
Hef in there. Hey, fellers. Love that
Hell
when he
yeah.
gets in there. I saw he
Yep.
was on your show this morning as well. We've got Daniel in here saying, after watching OTAs and minicamp, Dolphins are going to be better than people think. There's an interesting little comment. Maybe we can chew on that next time, Boy Green. You're not liking that. We got a good morning here from Mac.
Yes.
Thanks, Mac, for popping in. Who else we got here? Let's see. I know Jamie, the FedEx guy, was all kinds of riffraff in here. I'll get him in on a comment here. Okay, that was
That's
Mac
still
again.
Mac.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Here's Jamie, I think. All right.
Yeah.
Knicks will win series, but they are losing tonight, Manchild, because you're down there, and stop dodging me on the golf course. What are you talking about this golf course thing? I have
He
no
apparently says he's been trying to play in the golf course, but you're scared of him, that he's going to beat you or something. I just saw that in the comments.
I'm out of town. How am I going to play a round of golf with him when I'm out of town?
I will tell you this, Jamie, just because you're here. I thought I've been late. I guess I must do this every summer. summer. But like I thought I've told Lurch, like, man, I'm late. I need to go buy my fantasy magazines, fantasy football. And I went to the store after the radio station, like at 11 o'clock at night. And I go over to the magazine store and I'm shot part of it. And I'm looking around like, oh my God, they're not out yet. I'm like, okay, I'm not behind at all. It should be coming in the coming weeks. So, okay, there you go.
All right. What else we got? We got Sharon here. This was an interesting one. She said, if you feel like a song to run through in your head for days, I am 64, be 65 in December. So I'm not sure where that was going exactly, Boy Green.
Yeah.
I was thinking of When I'm 64, the Beatles song.
Yes.
Maybe that's what she was referencing.
Yeah, there must
there.
be. Yes.
I'm a big Beatles guy, so maybe that's what she was talking about there. But Sharon, thanks for being in there. She's fantastic. She's been in our comments a lot lately. Hep was back in with this one. Giants question: did Dart split the Giants locker room with his endorsement of Trump? We'll save that for another day. But I mean, in the short sense, I really don't think so. But that's going to be a time will tell kind of thing. I mean, we're going to see if indeed that thing, has residual. But it seems like they've had their meetings, they've had their one-on-ones.
Very nice.
Abdul Carter's cool. Everybody's cool.
They did a public hug. Good PR by the Giants, by the way.
They're going to be in mini camp this week. If there's some still residual on that
today, right.
I think in a lot of ways, maybe the good part of this is that it happened so early and that they have now, mini camp and then inevitably training.
Can you imagine this in September or something?
Right. If this happens right before the opener, good grief, right? So, so much better, if anything, that it happened at this point. Not that you want it to happen at all, but that it happened at this point, and everybody has their opinions about it, and so be it. Yada yada yada. By the way, Giants minicamp, as I mentioned, mandatory minicamp starts today. It's today through the 10th. All right, so just a few days. Jets minicamp will be next week, June 16th through the 18th. So they'll squeeze that in before we get to Father's Day, which is the
right. So the Jets have their final week of OTAs going on right now, and then mandatory minicamp next week.
And I may, folks, I'm doing a lot of traveling lately. I may be back here in New York City for part of that Father's Day week. And be out at the U.S. Open Golf Tournament, which is at Shinnecock on Long Island in Southampton. So that may or may not be my Father's Day soiree with my son. We always get together and do something for Father's Day. So we're thinking about that possibility and trying to line up things. So I may come back down into New York for that. I'm also planning a trip to Boston. I don't know if that's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. So I got a lot going on right now. I'm trying to get in some travel here in the month of June. While I have time to do some traveling and I'm off from some of my other jobs. But as you can see, we can operate remotely. It's not a big interruption to what we're up to. And obviously, I'm still plugged into everything that's going on in the world of sports. So always fun to do that. All right. From New York City, we will see you folks. Knicks, let's go. It's going to be 3-0 after tonight. That place is going to be nuts. Don't go near Madison Square Garden if you don't have to. If I go into the city, I promise you tons of videos. If not, I'll give you tons of commentary on the game one way or the other. You'll hear from me during the Knicks game one way or the other. But it should be a great time here in New York. New York has been waiting 27 years for an NBA Finals game. And unlike 1999, this one comes with plenty of hope and promise and the thought that they're going to end a 53-year drought in the city in terms of basketball championships. So it's going to be something, I'm sure. We'll get another one on Wednesday night for sure, and then we'll see if this series does travel back to San Antonio with what would be a Game 5 if necessary, if the Spurs could figure out a way to beat the Knicks. And now they're going to have to do it in the most adverse of all situations at an insane Madison Square Garden for 2 games in a row at MSG. Fantastic stuff, and we'll be here to cover. Boy Green, final thoughts if you have any. Go ahead, boy.
Yeah, just thanks to all the fans, and I know some people were like, this talk. You guys, this is on demand immediately after, so if you missed any Jets talk or Giants talk, you could always skim through the episode to find the piece that you were looking for. These live shows are a little...
a little eclectic sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially during the off season.
Yeah, and with the finals and Knicks, and there's a lot of Knicks and Jets fans out there. So you guys can always sift through and listen to what you want. So I saw we had a comment or two about that. So no worries. You guys can listen to everything. But I appreciate everyone who commented in. We love the interactions. These are great. These are a lot of fun, and we love doing it. And we'll have a full week of content. So stay tuned, everybody.
All right. Thanks, folks. Peace out. Appreciate you listening and watching. We'll see you on Wednesday for our next live show. Plenty of videos dropping in the meantime. Take care.